Hey, a big twit coming up. We've got a great panel. Paris Martineau, Mikah, Sargent, and the return of the digital Jesuit, Father Robert Ballecer. We're going to talk about Google's Thanos Easter egg, the Galaxy Fold, post-mortem, Amazon doubling its profits, Microsoft, $1 trillion company, and the end of a $16,000 laundry folding robot. It's all next on Twit.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twit, This Week in Tech, episode 716, recorded Sunday, April 28th, 2019. A very attractive container of note. This Week in Tech is brought to you by CashFly. Give your users the seamless online experience they want. Power your site or app with CashFly's CDN and be 30% faster than the competition. Learn more at twit.cashfly.com. And by Capterra. Find the right tools to make an informed software decision for your business. Visit Capterra's free website at capterra.com/twit. And by Quip. Get a fresh start every day with Quip, the first subscription electric toothbrush accepted by the American Dental Association. Visit getquip.com/twit to get your first refill pack free when you purchase any Quip electric toothbrush. And by Casper, a sleep brand that continues to revolutionize its line of products to create an exceptionally comfortable sleep experience one night at a time. Get $50 towards select mattresses by visiting casper.com/twit and using the promo code TWIT1 at checkout. It's time for Twit, This Week in Tech, the show where we cover the week's tech news with wonderful people from our community, the tech experts like Father Robert Ballecer. He's back from his stint at the Vatican. No, temporarily.
Temporarily.
Digital Jesuit. He's at jesuit.org, Padre SJ on the Twitter. And what brings you back here? You're getting a little medical treatment?
Yeah, I had a little spot of surgery, and it's not that I couldn't have done it in Italy. It's just that because I'm just registered on their healthcare system, it would take 18 months for them to do it.
Yeah, because you just moved there.
Right. So they said, just go home, take care of it, and come back.
And it's minor surgery, everything's
minor surgery. Okay. I do have a suture in my eye, which is very annoying, but
it's eye surgery.
Yeah. But that's like everyone gets a suture at some point.
Also, the coffee chihuahua is in the house.
It's me, the coffee chihuahua.
Mikah Sargent, love to have him on. Chihuahua.coffee is literally his website. It would be coffee.chihuahua, but nobody registers that domain yet.
No one has Chihuahua for some reason. Maybe I'll figure
why.
out how to have that top-level domain. I think I'll figure that out.
Chihuahua.coffee. I think it's great that you can get a coffee.coffee is pretty cool.
I do like that coffee. It's I've heard it's a lot faster because of the caffeine. You can get to the website a lot faster.
Oh, interesting. And from a little place you might know called Wired.com, Paris Martineau, she's staff writer there, does great work. Hi, Paris.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, guys.
You have a great view out your bedroom window. That is spectacular.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm walked up over to the office today.
Oh, you're at the office. Okay.
Yeah, I have very slow cell phones or internet speeds in my apartment, so I figured this would be a little easier to see you guys.
Very kind of you. I appreciate it. It's actually
there's also better coffee here, so
that's important.
.coffee.
So I got to try this.
Not yet.
I'm at google.com. And just no spoilers here, but I'm just going to type. You got to watch this carefully. Thanos into the search.
Whoa, wait, what are we doing?
Did they change it?
Click on the glove.
Click on the glove right here. Oh, it snapped. That's not good.
And it deleted half of all the web pages.
I believe that's not good.
Is a snap good or bad? I don't.
Oh, okay. I'm going too fast.
How about that?
They're deleting the web pages. Half of them are gone.
Okay.
Oh my God.
That's cute. All right, I like that.
Oh my God. This is, I know. He says, click it again, they'll come back. I don't want them to come back. I think the world is in balance now. There's only half as many Marvel-based websites as there used to be. I have not seen it. There will be no spoilers here. Has anybody seen the end game?
I have.
Carson and
I have.
Father Robert. Paris doesn't even know what we're talking about. And Mikah says,
I don't really know either, no.
Yeah.
$1.2 billion already. It's only been open 3 days.
I will say this, and this is not a spoiler, but for all the comic book fans who loved the original series in graphic novel format, they went in a completely different direction, which is awesome.
So you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you can't say, well, I read the book. And said, no bearing on this whatsoever.
Though I've learned 3 hours long.
Yes.
So I recommend, there are a number of articles online about when is the best time to go pee.
One word.
Yeah.
Catheter.
That is a word.
Or as was it Dick DiBartolo told me, I suggest you go before the movie starts.
Yeah, we were fine with it.
You can't hold it for 3 hours, Leo.
I went to the theater here in Petaluma with Brian Burnett and his wife, and I love those seats.
Yeah, we have a nice
actual
theater.
Seats.
Yeah, and you can
Just have a toilet built in.
Yeah, they should.
Almost. It's like a lazy boy recliner.
That's the future.
There's a button. The things go out. The seat goes back. There's a little table. This is the weirdest thing. Yeah. You can swing in front of you for your food. But the only bad thing is, almost universally in that theater, when you do press the button to make the seat goes out, it goes.
It does. It does.
It's really embarrassing. You got no. That was the seat. It's very embarrassing. Am I wrong?
No, you're perfect. And you know what? Those little slide-out tables are a perfect place to put a little tripod for your camera so you can tape the film.
Exactly.
It's very.
And they don't
solid.
mind if you do that.
No,
which is kind of nice.
Yeah, they encourage it.
Yeah. All right, that's the last you're going to hear about the Avengers in this entire episode. I just had to get that in. We might talk a little bit about the Game of Thrones. No spoilers. Although this is the big battle. Do you follow that, Paris?
I had followed most of Game of Thrones up until like the last season or two. Whenever it diverged from the books, I got disappointed and left. Yeah.
That's a higher geek. That's like meta geek.
I respect that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
solely
like
because I feel like the dot, like it went from being like this very like long build up show, you know, where it would take like 7 episodes for somebody to travel across the world, and then all of these plot lines would kind of perfectly align to total fan service. But maybe it's changed in the past couple of seasons. Please don't at me on Twitter. Listening to this.
That is like the ultimate geek kind of humble brag. Well, I stopped watching when it diverged from books.
Well, you know, Game of Thrones is one of the very, very, very few series that I actually enjoyed it in a on-screen version more than the book version. It's almost universally, it's the other way around.
Part of the problem, though, is I don't believe George R.R. Martin has finished the books.
No.
And
that's
they can't
the
wait. They can't wait for him. Yeah. It's like, dude, we're getting here to season 6. You got to finish the books, dudes.
He's going to be working on those for the rest of time.
No, the last book is going to end with the final chapter of the last book. I already know what it is. It's Jon Snow wakes up and the entire thing's been a dream.
Oh,
and he actually lives on a space station. It's Westworld. It's just a tie-in from HBO series to HBO series. Spoiler.
Content.
Sorry, spoiler. Sorry.
No.
Jon Snow is actually Dolores this whole time.
This is a big night tonight, though, because I believe this is the
longest battle in all of like movie and television or something.
This is a battle that's going to go for 3 weeks,
and they're losing at least 3 main characters.
Last week it was like everybody's kind of basically saying goodbye.
Right, exactly.
So
honestly, better than Thanos can do. It's more than half.
Well, the other cool thing about that is when they shot it, they actually shot it out of sequence so that you couldn't tell.
Did they?
Who was dying by who was leaving the set.
Oh, that's really clever.
And that's a good idea.
I'll tell you one person who we know died. The Galaxy Fold.
Beautiful.
I was prepared to go Friday against all best advice because, as we all know, the Galaxy Fold failed in the hands of Mark Gurman, Marquez Brownlee, Steve Kovac, Dieter Bohn, at least 4, maybe more.
Not just failed, but failed in different ways. So it wasn't the same defect that was causing it. There's a design problem with the phone.
Not just failed in different ways, but failed in different ways in 2 days.
Exactly.
It's not really a good...
And there were so many tech, people who were supposed to be reviewing this that just there was a small film over it that looked like a screen protector, but when you pulled it off, the total phone collapsed. Because that's apparently supposed to just be kept on the entire time, this tiny film.
And of course, they didn't apparently in the box or tell the reviewers at any point, don't take the film off. They just thought they wouldn't. But obviously,
apparently it's like in the instructions somewhere in the book, which people are definitely reading.
That makes sense to me because for us Asians, we always keep the plastic on everything. So, I mean, our phones are still working fine. I don't know what's the problem.
Right. That's probably what.
It's true.
I don't want to stereotype, but that may well be what they were thinking in South Korea. It's like, why would anybody remove that?
I know. It's plastic. It comes from the factory.
Why would you? My Samsung Galaxy S10 came with a screen protector. I don't like screen protectors, but it's pre-installed, factory installed. I immediately peeled it off. So I understand why reviewers who had already looked at the S10 said, oh, yeah, this is like the S10. And they just... Anyway, last week when we convened, there was some question about whether Samsung would still sell it. I actually pledged, I'm going to go buy it because I was really curious before it broke. In the few hours before they lost the phone, many reviewers reported this is actually better than you think. This is a very interesting way for a phone to work. A small screen on the front that you could just do notifications or make calls. But when you want more, you've got more by opening it up. I think I remember one reviewer saying, I get it now. And so I was prepared because I knew that they'd take it back if it broke. But I guess I'm not going to get the chance. The real question is, if we'll ever get the chance to buy a Galaxy Fold. AT&T weirdly sent out an email saying, oh, yeah, June 13th, we're going to have it. Samsung said, no, what do you say? But now I'm thinking maybe June 13th. Maybe Samsung's smart and saying we're not going to say a day until we figure out what's going on here.
I mean, it's still interesting tech, and it's still something I'd love to get my hands on. But, I mean, the problem with the phone is what everyone thought was going to be with the phone, which is durability of a folding screen. It works great in the lab. It works great when you have someone there who's telling you how to use it. Now take that out and misuse it 1,000 ways, and will it still work? And of course not.
But take it out and misuse it in one way, and it won't work. Dale Poco in our chat room said, you know what they should have done is put another film on top of that film saying, don't take off the next film.
Yeah, then you get to peel one thing and feel satisfied.
Get some peeling. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the most interesting developments with this, though, that I think is the whole iFixit saga. So iFixit, for I guess those who don't know, is this website where they do really good teardowns of phones, devices, all sorts of things. And they did a good teardown of it. And one of my colleagues, Luis Matsakis, had written about it specifically because they found some interesting things, kind of like that there was a kind of notch hole in it that maybe food or something could have fallen in eventually and messed up the phone. But within a couple of days of posting this review and teardown, they took it down from their main site and said that the person that I guess they had gotten it from had asked them to remove it, that they can't really say anything more, but that it is no longer going to be a published story, which I think is incredibly odd.
And certainly among tech journalist Twitter, I was seeing lots of blowback on that. You know, you have like your first blowback where everybody's saying this phone is breaking, it's going to get into people's hands and it's going to fail. I saw so much criticism of Samsung and whoever this person was, you know, the partnership there, essentially pulling this excellent piece from iFixit. And that's just like, I think that Samsung has potentially done some harm for themselves in not just another way, but also in terms of their relationship with journalists and particularly those who consider sort of the traditional aspects of journalism and how we don't want to censor these good pieces by saying, oh, no, we're pulling that because we are taking back the phone. Not a good look.
Yeah, iFixit, who, by the way, we should mention is a sponsor of some of our shows. iFixit wrote, we're under no obligation to remove our analysis, legal or otherwise. But out of respect for the partner that provided us with the phone, and we don't know who that is, and that's who Samsung contacted, by the way, not iFixit, but the partner, whom we consider an ally in making devices more repairable, we're choosing to withdraw our story until we could purchase a Galaxy Fold at retail. That may be a while. But it had the Streisand effect because
yes,
something on the internet doesn't go away just because you take the link down. It's already on archive.org. You can
there were
read
like
it
30
in full.
Replies to that tweet with the link, the archive link.
Yep.
And what have you accomplished except to attract more attention?
And the big ticket items were that it got a 2 out of 10 on the repairability scale. And the big item was the fact that they found there was no real way to keep dust from ending up within the OLED enclosure. And then that's what's causing a lot of the problems. You get any dust in there whatsoever, when you fold it closed, the OLEDs tend to fold inward on themselves. And if there's any particles whatsoever, you will cause damage every time you close it. So, I mean, that was the big takeaway from the teardown, which is interesting system, of course, not very repairable. Everything is glued into everything else. But the screen seems designed to fail. It's not, it can't last.
Well,
unless
OLED screens are notoriously fragile, right?
Right.
So that's the problem. And only an OLED screen can be bent in this way because it's not glass, it's plastic.
But in order to keep that flexibility, you need a way to keep contaminants out of the enclosure in which the OLED is sandwiched.
And they didn't because there's a visible gap.
Right.
I'm disappointed. Now, I'm just curious what you all think. Samsung's the #1 manufacturer of phones in the world. #2 goes back and forth between Huawei and Apple. But Samsung is big. I am a big fan of the Notes. I was from day one. I think this S10 is the best phone I've ever had. So I feel bad for Samsung. And I'm wondering, do you guys feel bad for Samsung, or do you think it serves them right? I mean,
I don't feel bad for...
Go ahead. Your turn first.
I was just going to say, I don't feel bad for Samsung, but I feel bad for... well, okay, I kind of feel bad for Samsung because I feel bad that the company has tried a new thing and it is not, this to be innovative, to try something new. And for something like folding phones, which we've seen these reviewers say there is something to this, I feel bad that it failed in that way. But when iFixit takes it apart and sees that there are all of these reasons why it failed, that's the part where I don't feel as bad for the company itself and where like a little bit of schadenfreude comes in. But in terms of a company stepping out and trying something new, yeah, it's kind of like a person who doesn't normally dance getting out on the dance floor.
Yes.
And you know what I mean?
Give them a little pass.
You're encouraging them, and you do want to give them a pass.
They're biting their lower lip.
Exactly.
At least they're dancing.
If there's dust getting into the outfit they're wearing, and it's okay. And I'm glad that they tried it. And so Samsung, you keep dancing, honey.
How about you, Paris? What's your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm happy that they tried this, but I'm also, I mean, Samsung's a large company. I'm more confused than anything that they would allow this to get to the stage where they're giving phones to tech reviewers and ostensibly going to roll it out soon, while the phone is clearly, I mean, as the iFixit review showed, has some serious issues with it. That, I mean, if a team of just like bloggers taking it apart could tell that, then I feel like all of Samsung probably should have seen this coming before they handed it out to a bunch of people who have the power to point out all of these obvious mistakes.
You do wonder how this happened.
Well, I mean, they had some interesting technology. They've been working on this for at least 5 years.
But you feel like they never gave it to a human.
Well, I mean, they gave
like
it
even
to,
their machine that tested the opening and closing was like very carefully balancing the pressure along all the edges, and give it to a 3-year-old
child. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right. Why is there no child trying this device out to see if it passes?
Because no child should have a $2,000 phone.
Okay, that's
ever.
A good point. Yeah.
But again, look, here's the thing. This is not going to affect Samsung all that much because their billions of phones don't typically come from the top end that we deal with.
Yes.
They sell all of the almost feature phones. Yeah. Right. So I'm with you, Micah. I think this is a chance for us to see what might be possible. I want Samsung to keep doing this, even if it does mean more mistakes. $2,000 was a crazy price point, which meant that very few people were actually going to buy it except as status symbols. So, yeah, should they have waited? In hindsight, maybe a tiny bit, but it looked like an interesting enough product that people would pay $2,000 to get one.
I would have.
You're the source, aren't you? You're that iFixit person that handed over your phone.
No, I didn't get one.
Check those pockets. They're just full of Galaxy Folds.
This makes me actually, sometimes I feel bad that I don't get offered the, pre-release stuff. I usually turn it down because I don't want pre-production stuff for sure. Sometimes it is, and you can't really judge a product based on its pre-production.
You pay for access, though.
Yeah, you do, because they harass you. They don't mean to, but the publicists call you up and say, how's that review going? You like it? And then after you review it, hey, what's the matter with you? And yeah, I prefer not to deal with it.
See, it's actually even a step worse than that now. I have people who are getting into this field, and their reviews are basically given to them by the PR people.
Yeah. Well, they want the free. They want the free stuff,
right?
And they don't want to do the work of actually reviewing it. So it's a win-win.
And I feel like that's some of the major issues with the review-based world is that, I mean, there was this scandal with whenever the iPhone 10 kind of came out, right. I believe whenever they did not give iPhone 10 pre-release models to certain outlets that had written poorly about Apple in years past, which of course, I guess that's Apple's prerogative. They can do what they want, but it's ridiculous that this whole market is kind of, it depends on the quality of your review and how much Apple or Samsung or whatever company you're talking about is actually going to like what you produce.
I'm sure
the whole place.
I'm sure there's always an undercurrent of that, but Apple is surprisingly unabashed at and Microsoft in its heyday in the 90s was very much like this in punishing the journalists it didn't like and rewarding the journalists it did like. Dvorak always tells the story of walking by somebody's office at Microsoft, a big executive, and there was a blackboard with basically an enemies list. These are the people we don't like, and Dvorak was very proud that he was on that list. Microsoft never was afraid to do that, and Apple now is really wielding its power, I think, to do that. And it's not. You're right, Paris. It's their right, but it's also wrong.
But to be clear, this is not unique to the tech world. I mean, this is every journalistic venue on the planet.
Car magazines are notorious for this.
Magazines. Or you want to be in the financial markets. Well, you have to play nice with the banks to get the information, and then you have to decide when you're going to spend that. Because when you write that big expose,
you don't get access if you don't play nice.
You want to be a White House reporter, there are certain rules you're going to have to follow. You want to follow the Beltway, well, you have to play by their ball. So it's not just a tech thing. We just notice it more because, especially now, it's the influencer culture.
Yeah, man, that drives me crazy.
I mean, it's Fire Festival in the Silicon Valley.
Yeah. We got Trey Ratcliffe just wrote a new book about how influencers have ruined Instagram. Trey, as probably most of our viewers know, because he's been a regular on our network, is a fabulous photographer who was able to use Instagram and other platforms like Google Plus and Facebook to build a great career. But he says the influencers on Instagram have really just ruined it. Not just real influencers, but phony influencers. There's so much money to be made as an influencer on Instagram.
Paris Martineau might have written a nice story.
Oh,
too.
I remember that. Oh. Yeah, he's following along in what you wrote. Exactly. I forgot. We talked about that last time you were on. Yeah.
There's a print piece about that very topic in this issue of Wired, the May issue. Yeah.
Oh, neat. Is that a different piece than the one we talked about?
It is different. It's more kind of about the spawn con economy in the influencer world. And how, I guess, because you just mentioned fake influencers are particularly damaging for the Instagram world, and it kind of deals with that in the sense that the rise of SpawnCon. This is the online version.
Inside the weird and booming industry of online influence, and part of the problem is people are buying followers.
Yeah, I mean, basically, part of the issue is that the metrics and ways in which we view and value content or ideas online, we kind of view them as the as their real world equivalents. Like, oh, if this tweet or Instagram post has thousands and thousands of likes and comments, then that's valuable content. Then people agree with that idea or maybe like that post. But that isn't always true because all of these metrics can be very easily bought. And often are, and none of them hold the same weight as their real world equivalents, nor are there any real ways to check whether, let's say, these 10,000 likes are real or fake, or the first 1,000 were fake, and that's what boosted them to get 9,000 more real ones. And it's like, how do you even begin to balance the weight of content and the value of content or ideas online? You can't really.
There was an interesting paper by, I believe it was MIT's Media Lab, where they were able to show what manipulated metrics look like versus organic metrics. Because in an organic metric, let's say you've got a tweet or an Instagram post that's particularly popular. You get a big boom at the start, and then it just kind of tapers off, and it does sort of just a decline into obscurity. When you've got a boosted post, what you see is it actually starts low, and then it goes high, and then every time it starts to decline, it goes back up.
Wow.
But the problem with that is you can't just look at that chart and say, well, they're cheating and they're not, because you get the same thing if you pay for it through Twitter or Facebook. So the only difference is, do I pay Facebook or do I pay my army of bots to get that continually boosted post?
And part of the issue. Oh, sorry.
No, please continue.
Oh, sorry. And part of the issue is now that the fakers and the people who kind of sell it's called like social, like SMM panels, is often where people kind of get these fake likes and everything like that. They're now offering services that specifically exist to kind of counter that narrative, where one place that I often kind of go to check the temperature of the online fake economy is this place called Social Media SM Garden. I've seen recently is they offer slow likes or slow YouTube views, no drops, which means essentially that you would get, if you buy 10,000 or 100,000 views in your YouTube video, they'll trickle them in every hour on the hour for a couple of days.
Right, and so they watch all the way through. Because there are the other types where, oh my gosh, I got 1 million views, but 90% of them dropped after the first 15 seconds. You can actually buy full engagement. You can tell them, no, I want you to actually download and be active the entire time of the video. So yeah, it's a cat and mouse game. And there's a part of me that says, we kind of did this, right? I mean, this is our industry. This is Twit. This is online where we...
This is not Twit.
No, but in a sense... in the sense that one of the big selling points when you started this revolution of where advertising dollars go is we said, look, we can tell you where your advertising money is being spent. We can show you the engagement. We can show you much better metrics than you can get off of the old Nielsen system. So we created a system that looked more honest, but now it's being gamed, and there's no easy fix for that.
So my question is, though, who is really harmed by this fake? So it's not really readers, because if you don't really have 1 million followers, nobody's really seeing you except a bunch of bots. You're trying to trick Samsung. You're trying to trick the companies to give you money, right?
Yes and no, because yes, they're fake, but and Paris, you alluded to this. It might be fake at the beginning, but because of the way that the search engines are weighed, since you got so much fake popularity, now you're actually getting organic views. Well, okay, now do we consider, is that fair game now? Is that table stakes? Do I have to pay a little bit to get my post boosted above the noise in order to give it a chance to get popular?
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, and I think where that ends up leading to is it plays into the content cycle. Like, let's say one thing that I think about, which is a total hypothetical, but I think is a good example of this. You remember after the Parkland shooting, there was a large news cycle about how one of the top video on YouTube was about the crisis actor kind of conspiracy, and there were a lot of articles and reactions written to that, and it was kind of a trending topic on Twitter for a while. And I was thinking at the time, I was like, how do we even know if all of those views are correct? Like, what if somebody hypothetically buys a lot of views for a YouTube video or tweet that ends up becoming popular, and it's, let's say, exposing like a polarizing viewpoint. And then people start using that tweet or account or, I don't know, article or video as a way to say, oh, this is what the right or the left is doing. This is emblematic of a certain viewpoint. We should react to that in this way. Then this whole content cycle starts up that was originally predicated on a lie, but because now people are engaging with it, it kind of becomes a partial truth in a way. And I mean, there's no way to ensure that we are not participating in that, or no way really to counteract against it. It's just something that we're privy to.
So Paris, when you said Social Media Garden, I created an account and logged in. How does this even exist? Tell me what this thing does.
Oh, so go over on the left. I can't really see.
I don't have any money in it yet. So they want me to deposit funds, obviously, right? And then what?
There is, go over to, like, it's socialmedia.garden/pricing.
Oh,
It's somewhere on
pricing
the
and
left here.
info.
Let me log in.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Yeah, so that'll show you the pricing table of the things you can buy.
How is this even legal? I can buy high retention, slow views, 300 to 600 a day, for $2.80 per thousand. Up
and
to
that
10.
used to be in beta last time I checked.
I could buy 10,000 views.
That's a deal
on YouTube. Is it only YouTube, or do they? Oh no, wait a minute. Instagram.
Yeah, so they have tabs for all of
Twitter,
these. Up into SoundCloud,
Facebook.
You can get SoundCloud followers.
I could buy SoundCloud followers, plays, likes, reposts, downloads. So what do they have? A panel of humans in Asia or somewhere that are doing this?
I'm not sure in the case of SM Garden specifically, but it could either be bots. It could be, I don't know if you've ever seen, there are particularly dramatic videos of these things called Chinese click farms where they
have a wall of smartphones,
walls and walls of phones that are automated to click and watch things. Or in some cases, if it's a particularly advanced operation, they'll have like 100 people in a room just, watching, clicking videos, manning machines.
And the idea of slow views is you don't want to trigger some. There it is.
They do have Twitch.
You don't want to trigger any thing on YouTube that says, "Wait a minute, they got too many likes and too few minutes." It looks more organic. They maybe even do it in spurts and stuff like real people would. Is it full? I mean, YouTube must know about this.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, it's a constant kind of back and forth in YouTube in particular. Viewbotting is often what this is called, or just buying fake views is something that YouTube has been fighting against since the beginning. And it's interesting, I guess, to look at this pricing table now, because I was looking at it maybe in like January, February when I was writing the print piece, which had mentioned this. And there was maybe like 5 different YouTube options available then, because I guess YouTube had cracked down on a specific type of fake view botting. But now there are like 15 or whatever available on there. So I guess, I mean, this kind of cycle and back and forth happens where YouTube will crack down and win for a bit, and then the spammers and fakers will adapt their methods and come back.
So the cheapest...
Is Amazon on there as well?
No.
Twitch,
Twitch is.
Twitch
is.
I
don't see where I can buy views for Priest Book.
Is that the Vatican
That's the
social?
one holy site left.
Yeah. Well, it's useless for me then.
One holy site. So the cheapest thing on here is mobile views on YouTube. Only $2.60 per thousand. And it takes 300 to 600 a day, so it builds up slowly. That's pretty cheap. Do you think this is... I mean, honestly, do you think big YouTube stars are using this?
Who's this for? Yeah.
Why wouldn't they, I guess? Well, certainly wannabes. But if you make more money, if you're charging, as I would imagine, CPMs, cost per thousand impressions, or adding a few thousand impressions, look, it's only $2.60 per thousand. If you're charging twice that per thousand as a CPM, it's worth it.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one big issue that a lot of companies have in regards to influencer marketing is there was some study, I believe, from maybe it was Clear Cloud or one of these social media marketing and analytics firms. They said that companies, their number one problem right now is trying to figure out whether influencers actually have genuine stats versus fake stats, because they don't know how much to pay them for any campaigns.
Right. So that's who it hurts. I mean, in the long run, I would imagine, and I would hope, since it'd be good for me, brands would turn away from this and go to places where they have, they can really measure.
You would hope that, but I mean, put yourself into the mind of an advertiser. You have to assume that if it's this easy to cheat, everyone's cheating.
Right.
And so therefore you just take 30% off of whatever quoted metric they give you, and that's what you pitch.
Honestly,
when you
advertisers don't have much better stats for TV or radio either. So those poor I feel. By the way, this is why Google. This is why Google and Facebook have 80% of all digital ad sales.
Right.
But there's a big problem with click fraud there too.
Yeah, and actually, yes. Let's clear that up. This is not a digital phenomenon, and this was when.
Oh yeah, it's been going on for years.
Does every newspaper that get printed actually get read? No, but they charge on printing.
In fact,
numbers.
magazines and newspapers are notorious for counting what they call pass-along numbers, where Well, TV Guide we know has 1 million subscribers, but we figure each TV Guide gets read by 18 people, so we're going to charge you.
Definitely,
it's exactly how they do it. It's kind of amazing.
Or we know by watching 0.01% of the households in the United States what everyone is watching.
Yeah, that's how ratings work.
No, that's not great either.
We had a problem with that on Tech TV in the old days because we had such a small audience that out of the whatever 1,000 Nielsen families, maybe one person was watching, maybe two. If that day that person 2 got sick, our ratings got cut in half. So it wasn't a very good system. It's not a good system for small networks because.
Wait, question: Did any of us know a Nielsen family? I never knew a Nielsen family.
Yeah.
No.
It's like
I'm not supposed to know Nielsen families. I would get in trouble if I knew a Nielsen family.
Do we even know
meet
how
someone
many
who
Nielsen
introduces
families there were?
yourself as a Nielsen family, you run away.
Anybody? Let's ask our chat room. There's a few hundred people in there. Anybody ever? I know people who've done Arbitron ratings. Were you? But the people meter.
John was a Nielsen family.
They had a people meter in your house? No, I got a diary. You got a diary. Yeah, that's the old radio way of doing it. Yeah, that's the old system that the radio used. Was you'd actually write down, and that favored a certain kind of programming. It's one of the reasons Rush Limbaugh early on got very, very good ratings. His fans were so devout. They would just, at the end of the week, nobody writes it in the ratings. They get at the end of the week, I got to mail this in. I better write in what I listen to. They just write Rush Limbaugh, Rush Limbaugh, Rush Limbaugh.
Everyone in the chat room is talking about a diary or a book.
That's the old way. Now they have these people meters, which are a little more reliable because they record all the time. You were a people meter house? Your brother.
I mean,
he wears a little thing?
It's easy enough to know exactly what everyone in America is listening to. Since our phones are listening to us 24/7, I mean, they can just get it from that, right?
No, don't do that.
Honestly,
yeah, the Amazon it just turns on.
Many TVs have microphones.
Yes.
They have also, many TVs had a system to look at the pixels of what you're watching, too, and figure out what those pixels mean, what show you're watching. So your TVs are phoning home. Look at your privacy agreement or your license agreement of your television. In most cases, modern TVs are doing that.
That's why I don't plug in a smart TV ever. It doesn't get any network connectivity.
Don't give it network connectivity. None. That's probably a good idea. All right, let's take a little break and we'll come back. Good panel today from Wired Magazine and Wired.com. Paris Martineau. I'm sorry, I forgot that you wrote that great influencers. You know all about this subject. It's great to have you, Paris. I'm going to start buying hits on social on that social.
Next week, your ratings go up 100,000.
No, I pledge we will never do that.
By the way, Paris, I did a keynote in Croatia, and one part relied very heavily on your reporting. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, thank you.
They love you in Croatia, Paris.
Wow, I have fans everywhere.
Was it Split, Dubrovnik?
Zagreb.
Zagreb. They love you in Zagreb. Zagreb loves Paris.
Oh.
Whoa.
That's a hashtag. There we go.
Hashtag Zagreb loves Paris. Everybody loves Mikah Sargent, Chihuahua.coffee. And we're... What?
I was just going to say, I'm kind of concerned now. I think maybe everybody in my life, I have to see if they're buying, like, I got 12 hugs today. No, you probably bought those. I can't believe any metric anymore.
It's kind of scary.
Hugs aren't free anymore, yeah.
Kind of makes you think the whole world is a lie.
Everyone's lying and everything's a lie, yeah.
Yeah. And Father Robert Ballecer, the digital Jesuit, on loan from God.
Yes, and I think I'm going to change my Twitter name to Chihuahua SJ. That is an awesome name.
Oh, I love it. Our show today literally brought to you by our content delivery network, CashFly. You know what a CDN is? Well, you're using one. You're soaking in it. A CDN gets content to you faster by moving the content to servers closer to you. CashFly is amazing. With servers all over the world, whenever you download a TWiT episode, audio or video, you're getting it from the server nearest you through CashFly. That means it's faster, about 10 times faster than the traditional you come to our website and get it. And CashFly works so well, it's even 30% faster than other major CDNs. It delivers rich media content right to our users without a hitch. And you know what? I hear this all the time from people when I'm, downloading podcasts. Some other podcasts sometimes a little slow to come in. Sometimes I don't get it. TWiT always comes in fast. You can thank CashFly for that. No matter what industry you're in, if your website is tied to company revenue, If your downloads are important to you, give your customer the fastest downloads they need with CashFly. LG uses CashFly. Microsoft uses CashFly. Adobe and Ars Technica uses CashFly. We've been using it for a decade. And not once have I got a 3 a.m. call saying, the CDN's down. Never get that. We go down, but the CDN is always up. In fact, 100% uptime SLA. And the reason they can do that is because they have all those servers. If one goes down, they still have got another to serve your content. No billing spikes either. This I really like. When we sat down with CashFly, they tailored a plan on our yearly usage, not our daily, monthly, weekly usage, because we have very spiky downloads, as you might imagine. Sunday's a big day for Twit, right? So I don't want to pay a lot more on Sunday or have to call and make sure that I haven't gone over my limit. Don't have to worry about it. They smooth it all out. In fact, on average, customers who switch to CashFly save more than 20%. 20%. Look at all the companies that use CashFly. Right now, you can call CashFly and get a complimentary detailed analysis of your current CDN bill and usage trends and see how much you can save with CashFly. It's very easy. It's a really simple thing to do, and I promise you, no hard sell. They're nice people that will give you the information you need to make the right choice. Twit.cashfly.com. Twit.cashfly.com. We really couldn't do Twit without CashFly. Twit.cashfly.com. I was talking about BitTorrent on the radio show earlier, and it reminded me in the early days, that's how we got Twit out, was we would do a BitTorrent feed of it, and we'd ask our listeners to seed it all over the world, and then they would get that from, that was a funky system. Along comes CashFly, and now I don't have to worry. So an interesting thing happening in Apple land, and the plot has thickened. Today, the New York Times, or maybe it was yesterday, wrote an article. Apple cracks down on apps that fight iPhone addiction. What? According to the New York Times, at least 11 of the 17 most downloaded screen time and parental control apps are removed or restricted from the iOS store. In some cases, Apple forced companies to remove features that allowed parents to control their children's devices or that blocked children's access to certain apps and adult content. In other cases, they just yanked the app. The example the Times gives is Our Pact, which is the #1 parental control iPhone app, 3 million downloads. Their CEO says they yanked us out of the blue with no warning in February. 80% of RPAC's revenue comes from the App Store. They're systematically killing the industry, said Amir Mousavian, the chief executive of RPAC. So why is Apple doing this? I think your answer to this question depends a lot on how you feel about Apple.
Is it are you skeptical or are you right along with them?
If you hate Apple, then you're going to say, oh, it's anti-competitive because they have screen time. Screen time is not as draconian as many of these apps. Apple, yes, pays lip service to you not using too much of your iPhone, but they don't want you to do too good a job. But I don't buy it because, in fact, Phil Schiller had such a good response that I feel like, okay, maybe I'm on the side of Apple on this one. So Schiller emailed. He got many emails, I think, from Apple fans. Mac Rumors reader Zachary Robinson emailed Tim Cook to express concern and got this response from Phil Schiller, the chief of marketing. So, take it as you will at Apple. Thank you for being a fan of Apple and your email. I would like to assure you the App Store team acted extremely responsibly in this matter, helping to protect our children from technologies that could be used to violate their privacy and security. So apparently some of these apps were using something Apple calls MDM, or Mobile Device Management. Installing an MDM profile as a method to limit and control use of these devices. I'm not familiar with this. Maybe you are, Mikah, because you cover this beat.
Yeah, it's what Facebook has done in the past. We probably talked. It's probably been talked about on the show, but Facebook was letting these people install these apps, and it installed a profile, and then it was tracking everything that the person did on the phone, and then they were giving like $20 gift cards or whatever. Facebook got in a lot of trouble for that. This is the same thing. It installs a profile onto your device, and that profile profile gives access to these apps to not only know everything that you're doing, but then they can be controlled that way. And I find it fascinating because I remember when the App Store guidelines said that you could not create an app that recreated the behavior of an app that Apple makes. And so
that's what I thought was going on.
Be the argument.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going on. We already do this. You can't do it. But remember, Apple allows other browsers. They have Safari on their iPhone. They
other
allow
HomeKit apps. Yeah. There are other, Apple's own fart app that was recreated by other people.
Yeah, it's a shame because Apple's fart app was the best. But
it was the best.
You're being silly.
Yes, everyone, don't look for Apple's fart app. It does not exist.
Clearly, Apple enforces that rule selectively. But I thought, well, maybe that was what they were doing. On the other hand, MDM is not, and Schiller says this is intended for enterprises.
MDM has been a enterprise feature for as long back as I can remember. I mean, since its inception.
Because companies can reasonably control their employees' devices, especially if they give them to the employee.
So when I connected to the Vatican's Exchange server, it installed a script, an MDM script, so that I can remotely wipe the device.
Wow.
And this goes above all the other security that I have on the phone. So no matter what they try to do with it, if I should lose this phone, I could log into my Exchange server and say, kill that device.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's a great feature, but here's where I think I actually have sympathy for Apple. If you have software that is using MDM, it has to be enterprise-grade security. Because what you're giving that software the ability to do is anything, literally anything.
They point that out. Not only are these companies getting unprecedented access to these kids' phones, but hackers could also
because if they have not done their due diligence, the developer, and they have not made the software so that it's secure, it means that I now have another vector that I can attack someone's phone, and now I own anything that phone has MDM privileges over.
Yeah.
Because when most of the software, the way it works is you have the parent phone and you have the child phone. And the child phone is slave to the parent phone. So if I own the parent phone, I now own any phone that that phone has MDM access to.
So is the Times at fault for writing that? They did contact Apple and they got a very anodyne response from an Apple spokesperson. We treat all apps the same, including those that compete with our own services. Our incentive is to have a vibrant app ecosystem. Didn't mention anything about MDM. That seems like a fumble on Apple's part. But maybe the Times should have pushed a little harder to get something a little less namby-pamby.
It sounds a bit like they had a sensational story because it sounded like Apple was doing a very Apple thing again. Whereas I think a lot of security researchers would say, maybe this isn't a feature you want out in the open.
If this is true, if Schiller's accurate and they were using MDM, Apple has an obligation to do something about it, as they did with the Facebook app. So anyway, I thought you'd want to get both sides of the story because I knew I was going to talk about the Times story, and then I saw Phil Schiller's response. And I have to say, I think there's something to be said too for the discussion of. There was I think it was a Black Mirror episode, and the Black Mirror episode was about installing this little thing into a child's head, and then you could filter out things that scared them, and then the parent could watch over their iPad-like device and filter things out and see things, and the mom put it away, but then she ended up seeing it and interacted with her child's life in a very controlling way when the child was older and was able to make responsible decisions on their own. And I think that there's not an insignificant amount of discussion to have about the sort of surveillance state parenting that can sometimes come with technology. And mind you, I say this as a person who does not have children, and it's a whole different aspect. You're actually closer in age to those kids that are getting monitored than you are to the parents of those kids that are getting monitored. So you're kind of like free the teenager, man. And I understand that. As the only one with parents on this with children on this entire panel, you all have parents, I presume, but as the only one with children on this entire panel, I will say I never second guess a parent for doing whatever it is they feel like they need to do to responsibly raise their children. But I do agree with you 100%, Mikah. Sometimes the tighter you grip, the more they want to slip through your grip, and it's not necessarily the best way to handle this. It's a tough thing. I'd hate to be raising kids in this era. My kids now are adults, thank goodness, because I feel bad for kids who have access to any kind of awful stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't, I think parents that want to find a way to protect them, I understand. I really do.
Let me go one step further in defense of Apple, which you will not normally find me in, but get rid of all the MDM talk, get rid of all the child parenting app talk, and say, would you want Apple to get rid of poorly written backdoors?
Yes.
And answer absolutely yes. Everyone should say yes.
No question.
That's essentially what they did. They saw this as really poorly written backdoors to children's iPhones.
Yep.
And between the two, between having a device that maybe kind of a tech-savvy person might be able to know what their child is using, or having a device that I know is locked down as much as possible so that it doesn't get infected so really bad people don't have access to it, I'm always going to choose to get rid of that backdoor, right? I mean, that should be a no-brainer.
I think both Paris and Mikah are of a generation where you kind of, you were in high school, certainly, when you had internet when you were in high school, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even before then. What did your parents do?
Paris, you first.
My parents really had no idea how to use the internet in the same way that I did. I remember having a argument with my parents for many years in high school that they thought Google Chrome was a virus, and I was trying to convince them that it was not. And I still bring this up to this day, and they're like, "Oh no, we definitely didn't say that." I'm like, I printed out sheets of research showing that Google Chrome's not a virus. But I mean, I think it was very different in the sense that I was always the one who was fixing the tech problems as a kid, and they were not. But
so they didn't have a chance. That's all you're saying.
No, they didn't have a chance to police my internet usage. But I don't know. Now I'm increasingly concerned as more and more tech companies roll out products specifically designed for kids, which I guess is good because there are more safety measures. But it's also like you are feeding children into this kind of content cycle. The first thing that kind of comes to mind is Caroline Haskins, a reporter at Motherboard, I think I tweeted this out the other day, but she was looking at the permissions on YouTube Kids, and to sign up, you have to enter in the child is to enter in their age, and the age limit is from you could enter in the age of 0 to the age of 13. I'm like, it is insane that you could make an account for a 0-year-old child, hypothetically, in this world that, I don't know, Google is kind of setting up these sort of walled gardens for children of any conceivable age to consume content in. It's quite a lot.
I think this is probably just lazy programming on the part of whoever, whatever code monkey had to write this login page. He said, we'll start at 0.
Wild.
It is pretty funny. I would think it should start at 13, right? Because of COPPA, but maybe not. I don't know.
No, because I think that's the thing is that
this is YouTube Kids.
And Facebook Kids or Messenger Kids exist kind of to specifically capture the under 13.
You're right.
Otherwise, we capture them.
They want 2-year-olds. They want 1-year-olds. They want 0-year-olds.
Yeah, you want 0-year-olds.
They do.
Yeah, you want to put a tablet in front of your newborn.
Actually, that's absolutely true. And I just saw a study from pediatricians who said under no circumstances should a child under the age of 1 be looking at any screen of any kind. Mm-hmm. So
it was a lot easier when I was a child to do responsible parenthood because any mature content that you would download over a 14.4 modem would take an hour and a half. So all my parents had to do was pick up the phone every 45 minutes. It would reset my connection. I'd have to start over. So there you go. Good parenting.
When I was a kid,
I was just going to say
mom and dad just said, "Go out and play with the rocks. It's not time for dinner yet."
Paris, Mikah, did you have that? I'm on the phone.
I do remember that, but that was as an adult. Okay. I'd be on CompuServe playing Dungeons, the Colossal Cave, and my wife would pick up the phone. Get up!
Oh, that negotiated horribly.
Mikah, what did your folks do?
I was going to say that was certainly my experience in elementary school, was the me wanting to be on the internet. To most of the time it was like upload little stop motion videos that I had made with this horrible, crappy webcam that I had.
Awesome.
And I would just take a photo with the webcam.
Wait. Was it a Logitech Quick Cam?
It was circular.
Yes.
It had a little focus ring.
Yeah.
So
did you hook it up to the parallel port of your computer?
Yes.
That was it. They had that on Tech TV, and they never worked.
That's what I was rocking. And it wasn't doing any video. It was just single frame. So maybe that's why mine worked so well. But I was just going to say my experience was mirrored with Paris in terms of high school or, middle school on, is that they would come to me for the tech problems. And so I could have and did do, a bunch of things online that they wouldn't know the first thing about at the time. And so now I think about folks growing up. I mean, literally, like, I'm trying to think of sort of brands that I love, and there aren't many brands that I love. And I think about the access that folks have now to these things that play such a huge role in their life. And so if you are zero and you grow up watching YouTube Kids and you tie that like dopamine cycle of watching a show and, falling in love with the little things that dance around on the screen, you get the cycle built in. That comes from YouTube. You're 13 and you get to graduate to regular YouTube. You're suddenly into Minecraft and all these other things. You're never going to not be on YouTube. You're never going to not be on Netflix. You're never going to, you know what I mean? These services, our connection with everything is so much now that it's, you almost don't need like advertising, because these things are again, building themselves into, I think, our psychological reward centers now. And so, you got to have your YouTube, you got to have these things, and they make you feel good. And that's what's horrifying to me, is that I can't think growing up like what that would have been. As I'm trying to think of it, I guess like Gerber baby food probably would have made me happy, but like then I stopped eating it. So there's not really a brand in that way. Yeah. But now you start from zero with your Samsung phone, or if you're an Apple camp, then you're going to keep going to those products over and over again, or those services online.
I wonder, we are going to have in a few years a generation that grew up watching Minecraft videos on YouTube. I don't know.
In a couple of years, we'll have a generation that'll think Minecraft is passé.
Well, that's the good news, is everything there. There's a time for things wear out, but still, I wonder. Honestly, is that going to be problematic? Or
yes,
you think so?
Absolutely.
Or maybe it's just we're old and we don't get the kids today.
Well, no, because
I'm the oldest.
It's not just Minecraft, and it's not just YouTube, and it's not just whatever is the latest and the greatest unboxing video. It's the fact that when we talk about the always connected generation, it's no longer a figure of speech. I have watched kids fall asleep with their phones on their chests.
Oh yeah, that's pretty common.
And then as they're waking up, before they're even really conscious, the first thing they do is they grab their phone again. And I'm thinking,
do you have a problem with that?
That's a major problem.
I do that every day.
I know, but that's a problem.
That's how I turn off my alarm. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Doesn't that affect your sleep cycles?
Oh, God, you should see my sleep cycle.
The sleep cycle you track on your phone.
Yeah, well, or as a matter of fact, yes.
At least I've grown enough to know that
my Samsung phone every morning sends me a notification saying, "Did you go to sleep at 8:30 and wake up at 5:30? Because that's when we saw you last."
Nope.
No, it is. It's accurate. It knows somehow exactly when I went to sleep. I guess because that's when the phone fell on my chest.
The only thing that I've done that's mature in the last year is if I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning really quick because I have to do something, I don't reach for my phone, because if I reach for my phone thinking, oh, let me just check what email I have and I'll go back to bed in 5 minutes, I'll be up for the next 3 hours. But, young adults, they don't have that yet. Once they start looking at the screen, they're looking at it until they fall asleep.
A lot of parents that I know actually will take away the devices and put them somewhere not in the bedroom. Otherwise,
Jason and Megan do that. They have a device thing.
Carson, you do that too with Zach? Yeah. And Alex? I think that's probably what I would do if I had kids today. It feels cruel, though. And I want to just emphasize, I worry that it's just not us not understanding the culture that those kids are growing up in. So, I mean, is there anything wrong with them growing up watching Minecraft videos on YouTube or playing Fortnite to the wee hours of the morning or Instagramming or any of this stuff? This is their generation. Isn't this what it's going to be like in their adult life, too?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. And yeah, this kind of bumps up against something that I think about a lot, which is my oldest gripe when it comes to like tech news coverage, is the genre that is like the teens are using popular social media service X to do thing Y that everyone does in real life.
Oh my God.
No, but I mean, like the teens are talking about politics on Instagram. The teens use YouTube to express social behaviors. I'm like, okay, yes. People who grew up online are going to have social behaviors online that are the same as offline. Who the hell cares?
Except this. It's not just a means of communication, because if it was just a means of communication, we could look at it like any other revolution, like the Industrial Revolution. It hasn't just changed how people get information, it's changed how people relate to one another. And that is incredibly difficult to quantify what that changes, because now that people are accustomed to having relationships with people that they've never met in person, that changes what kind of dynamic you have and what kind of interpersonal development you have. If I can grow up to the age of 40 without ever really having to deal with another human being,
well, you have to deal with other human beings. You go to school, you go to church, you go places, you buy groceries. It's not like they're never doing that. It's actually, I would submit, it's expanded their horizons. They're getting to know people from all over the world. They're getting
without having to be physically next to someone.
Yes, I would say it's not either or. I would hope that kids are getting up and going somewhere once in a while. But if you replace all social interaction with online social interaction, clearly you're going to be stunted. But I don't think that's the case for the vast majority of people. They're getting both, and so in a way they've broadened their horizon. Don't you think?
Yes, and that's why, I mean, I'm not a Luddite. On Twitter, I posted a while back ago, there was a Christian group that was doing a huge meeting, and they wanted me to keynote. And I said, oh, sure, I love keynoting for these kind of groups. Well, no, they wanted to fly me back, and I do my spiel. And we're setting up the terms, and they said, oh, what we really want is we want a keynote on why technology is bad and evil.
Technology.
I'm like, well, you haven't looked at my bio, but okay. And I get it. They're scared because they see this as an addiction, and it absolutely is an addiction if you let it be an addiction.
I think they're scared, as all parents have been since time immemorial, because it's something new. Turn off that rock and roll music. Stop watching Howdy Doody. Whatever it is, it's something new. You can literally go back, and Jeff Jarvis will bring this up if you ask him, at the drop of a hat, to the days of when the printing press came out, people started being able to afford books, and they started reading books. People were writing screeds against reading, like they're not experiencing the world. They're reading; it's on the page. What are they not? It's the same thing. And so my only fear is that we don't understand it, and so we condemn it, just as you were saying. And maybe it's not so bad. I don't know. I mean, we're running a big experiment. That's for sure.
Yeah, but it's ongoing, and it'll keep happening.
Yeah. Paris, go ahead.
I was saying, I think the issues that we have with technology are not technology replacing online interaction. It is that when interacting in the same way as you would offline, online, there are extra consequences and ramifications that are powered by algorithms and increased polarization and a variety of other effects that you have to watch out for. But it's not just the use of technology in this case is bad.
You can't make it blanket. And yet, I also understand the fear that we are running a mass experiment on our children, and we don't know how it's going to turn out. And we won't find out for another 15 years. And when we do, we may not like the results we get. I don't know.
We did this large symposium of educators, high school, higher education, university, postgrad, et cetera, hundreds of teachers, professionals from around the world. And one of the common themes was how education has changed. It used to be education was about teaching you how to get the information that you wanted to have. That's now incredibly
How to
easy.
use the library and the card
Precisely.
catalog. Yeah.
It said, and if education wants to stay relevant, what it has to do, it has to change from how to get you the information to how do I critique the information? How do I know a good source from a bad source?
How do I synthesize new ideas?
Media literacy. I think is going to be right now. There are certain classes, depending on where you are, where the curriculum decides sort of you have to take this class in order to graduate. And I think media literacy is going to be such an important thing, and not just media literacy, but tech literacy, the whole kit and caboodle.
I do hope, and maybe it's a futile hope, but I do hope that the whole fake news cycle, the whole 2016 election influenced by the Russians, all of this, that there will be a reaction to this that ends up, the right response is not let's shut down Facebook or let's find ways to block fake news. The right response is to teach kids literacy, to teach them how to understand what they're seeing, and to teach them that there are people trying to influence you. And so you should think about what you're receiving, who's writing it and why, and what their purpose is. And if people can understand that deeply, that's going to be more valuable than shutting down Facebook.
Oh, yes.
I hope.
Yeah, and I think that the prime example of that is that if there have been, I'm blanking on the names right now, but I know there have been certain studies where if you look at young adults or kids versus, I don't know, boomers or people who have less media literacy or time online, people perhaps, let's say in like the 50 or 60 plus era more often succumb to fake news or polluted information than people who've grown up online.
It is. It's the baby boomers that are sharing this crap, not the teenagers. They know it's crap.
They aren't on Facebook.
Right. They're not even.
Follow the meme account on Instagram.
Yeah, right. No, that's I read the same study. It said boomers share false stories 8 times more than people under 25. That it's us.
Yeah.
It's my generation that's being suckered by all this stuff.
And there was that incredibly powerful Washington Post piece that I guess I'm blanking the name of right now, where they followed some people, I think maybe they're in their 70s or something, that shared posts from this one definitively fake news site that was, I guess, right-leaning, but it was actually run by kind of a liberal, trollish person who was just creating satirical news with a right-leaning bent, kind of. It was supposed to be as a joke, but even after they told the people who were sharing this news, hey, this is false, it was made by this person who's doing it as a joke. If you look on the site, it literally says this is a joke.
Says it.
They shared it anyway because it still conformed with their beliefs. And I think that's why this issue is so much larger than just media literacy. It is also about looking at these sort of societal issues that we have and confronting these like internal and external beliefs that are held. And in addition to that, also confronting the platform issue of all of this in regards to polarization.
Yeah. This is the Business Insider article from earlier this year. Baby boomers share nearly 7 times as many fake news articles on Facebook as adults under 30. So maybe there's hope. Maybe there's hope for the future. And I think, Paris, I have to say, you're a poster child for parents not knowing anything about technology and letting the kid get into it. I mean, you turn into, and I say this in the most positive way, a geek, right?
Yeah, certainly.
And that's a good thing.
And love my parents to death, and they'll never read or hear this, which is why I will say it. But they are definitely the sect of adults that fall for fake news at all times. And that is the only thing they share. And it has changed their beliefs radically. But I think because of that, me and at least my sister, who's still, in the Gen Z kind of stage of being obsessed with being online, it has resulted in us adopting technically driven strategies to make sure all our information is correct.
That's really encouraging. I think that's really great. And honestly, as easy it is for us baby boomers to diss millennials, I think actually you guys are going to do a better job than we did. I hope anyway. It's up to you now.
Well, because we're in that transition time, right? Because, I mean, when I was growing up, the whole idea was 2 primary sources. For anything that you wanted to say was true, you found 2 primary sources, and then a couple of facts to back it up. Well, it's really easy to find 2 primary sources now that are both fake or were both built off of the same fake kernel. So what do I tell a student now? Because I'm actually still dealing with
Actually, this is really interesting because Jesuits, of course, have a long history of education and of really hard-headed education, of really being demanding and rigorous in their requirements for their students. I mean, this is, and going back to many, many centuries of this.
Yes.
John McLaughlin of the McLaughlin Group, a famous Jesuit, A good friend of mine was educated by him, and he was absolutely strict in his requirements, as he should be. And I wonder, do you see any change in Jesuit doctrine and education in the internet era?
Yes, and that was the reason why we had that big symposium, which was they said, look, the universities need to change their focus. We've been focused for so long on pumping up PhDs. Yeah. We just want to get more people with more doctorates who have published more things that will never be read because they're in a journal somewhere on a dusty shelf. Yeah. And we actually have to make them useful again. And one of the ways that people said, look, we can make it useful if we actually start teaching people how to critique the information that they're receiving. So the years of education where it was just about dumping as much info into someone's brain as possible are over. Now it's all about, I need to make you a critical consumer of information. And that's really very different.
It's so amazing that this organization, when were the Jesuits founded? 1600s?
Well, we go back a little earlier.
Really?
But we were kind of extinct in 1773.
Okay, and then came back?
And we came back.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just think it's amazing that this organization has been around for so long, is actually the rigorous intellectual branch of the Catholic Church in many, many ways. And it's great to hear.
Which gets us in trouble, by the way.
Oh, I bet.
A lot.
It's great to hear that they're forward-thinking enough to say, yeah, we've got to rethink how they're not hidebound. They're not saying, well, it was good enough in 1922, it's good enough today. No, we got to rethink how we do this stuff, and I think we absolutely do. Let's take a little break. Lots more to talk about. What a panel. I love it when Father Robert's in town. We're glad to get you. I hope we can keep you. Okay, can you tell this on the air, this story that you told me?
Uh-oh, which one?
About the basement? Can you say that on the air?
I can say this. Right before I left, there was a group of us who were playing a round of Dungeons and Dragons in a crypt.
Underneath the Vatican.
As you do in Rome, because it sets the ambiance.
Dungeons and Dragons. I just want to say that again. Dungeons and Dragons in a crypt beneath the Vatican.
Yes. And someone, a very, very nice man who wears an awesome hat, came in. And he wanted to know what we were doing. And we had to explain, oh, this is Dungeons and Dragons. And he goes, oh, this is Dungeons and Dragons. And the game master explains the scenario and says, would you like to play? And he says, I do not think that I would. And that was and then he walked out.
Oh, what a story.
And the people who know me, they know who I'm talking about.
Assumption check.
Yes.
Yeah.
So awesome. Paris Martineau from Wired, great to have you. And our resident millennial, we love to have you too. Mikah Sargent, Chihuahua.Coffee. Are you excited about Harry Potter Wizards Unite? Are you going to play it? Uh-oh, I think no, that's not the answer.
Pokemon Go, all of those, they're fun.
You don't do those?
It's not for me, but I'm excited to see Renee get excited about it.
I am really excited.
Renee Ritchie.
It's rolled out now. It's based on, so it all started with Ingress, which you were the first Father Robert to ever play around here.
I still play.
You were really into it. And then Ingress from Niantic, which was a Google company, spawned Pokemon Go, which became a huge phenomenon in 2016, July of 2016. Do you still play it?
I still play it.
Nice. As do I. I'm going to keep playing until I get to level 40.
I still have
got 1.5 million points to go.
I have a Blissey that's still guarding St. Peter's.
I still have a Slacking that is stuck in a gym in Kauai. I put this gym in the National Tropical Botanical Gardens. Apparently, nobody plays Pokemon Go there. It's been there for weeks. I'm never getting my Slacking back, but that's another story. And then Warner Brothers, who owns the right to the Harry Potter movies, and I guess the right to do Harry Potter games, is partnering with Niantic to do what, if you thought Pokemon Go was a phenomenon, I personally feel that when Wizards Unite, which is the Harry Potter game, comes out, and I think it's imminent, it's going to dwarf
as
Pokemon
long
Go.
As they give me a separate wand so I don't have to wave my phone. If I can cast
there
spells
is a wand, and you have the same spells. Flipendo.
Totally sold.
Expecto Patronum.
I will be running around the Vatican with a wand.
So fun.
I'm sure that's going to turn out really well.
What's nice is they've piggybacked on each game because the Ingress stops and spots were what was used in Pokemon Go. They're going to be reused in Harry Potter. So
of course,
all the same places that were ingress. What do they call them in Ingress?
They're portals in Ingress. Yeah. They're what Pokestops in Pokemon. Because that once they got that data set, why wouldn't they reuse it?
No, it's great, and it's based on real maps. So it's the whole idea is you walk around. You have to walk around and visit places to play the game, which is they billions of miles. People have walked playing Pokemon Go over the last 2 years.
I'm going to ask them if we can do something special for St. Peter's because that would be awesome.
So cool. But now there are some priests who think Harry Potter is satanic.
Yes, they burned those books.
Yes.
And then you heard what I did?
No.
I sent them e-copies of Harry Potter's books.
You can't burn these, baby.
Burn them on a disc.
I did. Awesome. I had a coupon, so they got the whole series.
That's so
And I want to know if they
fantastic.
burnt their tablets.
Oh, my God, you're evil. I mean, good, in a good way. Let's take a break. More to come with a superb panel. Our show today brought to you by Capterra. Who doesn't have had, we've all had this experience, I certainly did, of going to work, going to a new job, and they're using software that's based on Windows 98. Or that requires Internet Explorer 8. You know, old line of business software. Some high school kid wrote for the boss 15 years ago. The kid's long gone. He's running a tractor in Indiana or somewhere. But the boss can't get the new software. He says, I like this software, and you're still running this stuff. It's insecure. It's inadequate. It crashes all the time. Who doesn't have that experience? I got a solution for you. You can show the boss this. Capterra.com. Capterra is the leading free directory of software solutions for your business. I guarantee you there is a newer, better program out there for you, many of them running off the web. But the point is, no matter what your business, and there are 700 categories, thousands of businesses, everything from a content management system to email marketing to IT service to running a yoga studio to workflow management. I can go on. Look at all these categories. And if you need software for your business, you don't have to, your line of business software doesn't have to be old and out of date. And it's all there. And it makes it really easy. Pick a category, Carson, any category. I don't care. Just click on one there. What are we going to get here? Computer repair shop software. How many packages are there? There's hundreds, but now you can narrow it down. You see that on the left, you could filter it by, I want ones with reviews that are 4-star or better. I want something that can run online, or I can want something that runs on disk. Maybe I need to manage accounts. Whatever it is you need, you click the boxes, filter it out, narrow those hundreds of packages down to the few that do everything you want. You can build a comparison chart of 4 different ones, so you can look side by side to see which they do. But here's the magic. Capterra has 850,000 reviews of products with 30,000 fresh reviews every month. And these are real reviews. Capterra is very careful to vet them of people who actually use the programs. So you can find out what people really think about the software you're thinking of buying. Filter the results, compare them side by side, read the reviews, and pick a better program for your business. Capterra believes software makes the world a better place because software can help every organization become a more efficient, effective version of itself. Nonprofits, too. And here's the best part. I think people would pay for this $5, $10, $20 a month, but Capterra is absolutely free. Free forever. They're not freemium, free. No matter what kind of software your business needs, Capterra makes it easy to discover the right solution at no cost to you. Go to Capterra, Capterra, Capterra.com/twit. Capterra is software selection simplified. Stop suffering with old software. Get in the new stuff. Capterra.com/twit. We thank them for supporting This Week in Tech, and I thank you for using that URL because that tells them you heard it here. Capterra.com/twit. I love this article in Gizmodo. Don't forget to cancel Apple News Plus. Did you see
I
this?
forgot. I got charged.
So it's been a month.
I wanted to cancel.
Yeah, it launched March 25th. I did the same thing. But you know what? Apple popped up a thing saying, do you want to renew? Which I'm really grateful to. This is their magazine rack. You pay $10 a month for hundreds of magazines. And I found it.
I think Wired is on there.
And Wired's on there. I didn't use it that much. So I did cancel, because you know what I prefer to do, and I do this. I buy Wired. I subscribe to Wired. There's a handful of newspapers and magazines. I actually want to give them money directly instead of whatever it is you get from Apple, probably 50% or less. of the subscription fee. So, but I think for most people, they don't want a bunch of different subscriptions. So maybe Apple News is a good solution. But yeah, April 25th, 3 days ago, if you didn't cancel, you just paid Apple $10.
It's like the Stars subscription on my Amazon Prime account. My dad uses it, and he keeps forgetting that every once in a while, if it says Stars, every time he clicks it, it starts the 1 week free trial.
Oh, crap.
And then a week later, I get a billing statement. Oh, we noticed you didn't cancel.
Oh, he resubscribes?
Keeps doing it. It's like the 9th time he's done it in 2 years.
Well, you're going to be glad you're an Amazon Prime subscriber. Do you see this? Amazon Prime wants to offer 1-day delivery.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm dropping out of my Prime, though.
But it's going to take a while.
Yeah. They don't do 1 day to Italy, unfortunately.
No, they had announced this on their earning call, I guess, was it Friday, Thursday, something like that. And it was funny because literally then afterwards, every single question that was asked by the investors was, oh yeah, about that 1 day delivery. I mean, they've essentially said Amazon, I guess, they said they're trying to, over the next year, change entirely globally their 2-day Prime shipping offer from around the globe to be 1 day to all zip codes anywhere. And they're going to spend at least $800 million trying to transfer over their logistic services and their whole network to work for 1 day.
I can't wait to tell my grandchildren. I remember when it took 2 days to get an Amazon.
Oh, that's...
you know that ultimately they want it same day because honestly, the only impediment to ordering something on Amazon as opposed to the store down the block is you can get it right now at the store down the block. But if you could get it same day, maybe a few hours later.
See, but it's not even time anymore.
That's the reason why I use Amazon now.
It's effort. I have to walk that block to that store down there. I can just push a button and it comes to me.
I don't even push a button. I just tell Echo. I say, Echo, I need batteries. The last time you ordered batteries, it was these. You want to order them again? Yes. What's your number? And you give it your code, and it orders them, and they come the next day. I love you, Amazon.
Can I do an Amazon PSA just for if there's an Amazon developer currently listening to the show?
Yeah.
Look, Amazon, I understand that you want to do that whole thing. If you choose slower delivery, I'll give you $1 for digital purchases.
Yeah, they say you have an Amazon delivery day.
Right.
Like Monday's my Amazon delivery day.
But if you can wait, we'll give you $1.
I never do that.
I always do that. I always do that. And here's the thing, though.
I want it now.
I have if I'm ordering like 12 things, I have to make 12 separate orders so I can collect the $1 on every single item versus putting them all in one box. If you let me put them all in one box and get credit for each one of the items in the box, that's 11 less boxes you have to send stuff in. I'm just saying.
I always choose to have it shipped. So this is weird. Online, it is difficult to find. There's a delivery option where you can say, hey, I want you to ship this in as few boxes as possible.
Yes.
But I can't find it online. I have to always go to my mobile device and do it that way. And that's because I don't know. I have this thing about people, like neighbors, seeing me with 12 boxes and I feel weird and like, I don't know. It makes me feel bad. I'm like, it feels like I'm flaunting wealth or something. And usually it's like small things anyway, but it makes me feel weird.
It does look like, my God, this man has money. There's 18 Amazon boxes on his.
What's inside of there? And I find this interesting, and I'm curious, all of your experiences with Amazon delivery. I have not had any issues. If it says 2-day shipping, I think once in my whole history of being an Amazon customer, I've had it. It took 3 days instead of the 2 days. But I saw several people on Twitter complain saying, oh, great, they're going to switch it to 1-day delivery. This is going to cause a bunch of issues for me. I wish they would just improve the quality and this and that and the other. A lot of people apparently have issues with whomever is delivering their packages where they don't put them on their porch or it doesn't end up showing up, or they say I knocked and no one answered. And then they're like, I was home all day because I work from home and I didn't hear a knock. I've not had any issues personally. Most of the time, Amazon chooses to use the postal service, the U.S. Postal Service, to deliver mine. Occasionally it's UPS, but I'm curious for you all, if you order 2-day, does it arrive in 2 days?
2 days or less for me.
Well, that's because, Mikah, you live in a big city, a big urban metropolitan region, and so it's easy to deliver to you, right?
I don't. I live in the Midwest, and
I know.
Okay, that was the joke.
Probably.
Okay, I was like, wait, I don't.
Maybe you live next door to an Amazon fulfillment.
That's probably what it is. I need to look around.
There's many a time where our Amazon deliveries have been delayed. I ordered before I left for vacation. I bought a new ThinkPad, and I ordered a 1 terabyte M.2 drive from Western Digital. I'm in Hawaii, and I got an email saying, "We don't know what happened. The carrier lost it." And
good.
What? It was supposed to come the next day. I thought, that's amazing, and it didn't come at all. And then it turns out you can't just check a box saying, "Well, I want my money back," or send me another one.
Nope.
You have to call
you have
them.
to go. You have to go to the Amazon messenger thing and message with somebody. This happens. So I live in Brooklyn, so most of my Amazon deliveries, probably 9 out of 10, can get there in one day. Or I often do Amazon Now because I'm a heathen who needs products immediately.
Now!
I'll get them within an hour or two.
Such a good name. It's a 2-year-old name. Now, mommy. Now.
I order my Whole Foods groceries and they arrive in 1.5 hours during a snowstorm. And I'm like, I hate myself, but I love this. But 1 out of every 10 times I probably make an Amazon order, it'll get, I think the U.S. Postal Service has a vendetta against me because my stuff will just get lost somehow or never arrive, or it'll say it got delivered. But then if I check the tracking thing, it'll be in I don't know, upstate New York somewhere, never got taken from its facility. So I just messaged the Amazon little chat line.
Yeah, but you can't, that's the only way you can do it, right? Is you have to...
Yeah, there used to be a button you could click that says, my package got lost, or more often for in New York, my package got taken from my doorstep by a neighbor. But, now they have...
Never moving to a big city.
There is a more effective way to complain to Amazon than going through their help screen, though.
What?
It's Twitter. Seriously,
they respond to tweets.
Oh, but I can't be that person.
So quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So quickly.
You need to set up another account that's just like your first name _ Amazon complaints, and then no one will know.
Okay,
it'll be
that's acceptable because my one thing that annoys me is whenever I see people with blue check marks on Twitter using it to complain about their Delta service or complain about their Amazon package. I'm like, come on, you know that you're going to get a great. You know that you're just using the fact that you're a check reporter.
Yeah, you're just doing it for that.
Also,
that's the version of having 12 packages on your porch.
Well, my results are skewed because when I was living in San Francisco, I lived at a campus, and we had a security office and a central receiving. So it makes it a lot easier for me to get packages. When I was living in D.C., they would leave packages on the porch, and probably 1 out of every 3 packages got taken.
Now, I don't know why, but this only happens once in a while. But I ordered something on Amazon for my mom. I ordered a bucket of popcorn because she likes the bucket of popcorn.
Why didn't you go to the corner store, Leo?
Because she lives in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
So I got a notice saying, "Oh, we're only 5 stops away," and so I texted her the map, and then shortly thereafter, I got a picture of the box.
Whoa!
On her
Tell us
step.
what you think about this photo. Wow,
That's awesome.
I want that.
Is that wild?
What is
That's
that?
really wild.
It's a picture of a box of popcorn on my mom's
service. How do you get that? I want that.
I don't think I applied for it. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does,
That seems like it was delivered by an Amazon Flex employee then, which is Amazon's contract workers.
So that's to reassure you that guy driving the 56 Chevy.
Because he is responsible for it. Right.
Okay. I wish they would have done this with my
Amazon
hard
Flex
drive.
Employees, they have to take photos of the packages and send it in.
So that means somebody sketch delivered it.
I just saw a new thing where Amazon's requiring that the drivers take a selfie of themselves to confirm their identity as well.
That's right. So somebody else isn't doing your Flex
I want to be one of these Flex drivers, and I'll take pictures of the packages as I throw them over fences and into trees.
This is a live photo.
Check them out.
Our office manager has a Ring camera on her front door because she works for Twit. We all have Ring cameras. And she has a video of the mailman driving by in the truck and not even stopping, just throwing the package.
Kicking boxes out the door.
So she called the post office and sent them the video. She said, this person did this. They said, well, we don't know who that was. Of course you know who that was. You don't know who that was?
We don't know who that was in the USPS.
Sometimes people just take the trucks and they do rounds. It's weird.
You don't know who that was. That makes you really appreciate Amazon. Now, you do raise an interesting point, and so did the chat room. this one-day delivery is going to put a lot of stress on already highly stressed Amazon employees working in the fulfillment centers, working to do delivery. I mean, I'm so torn because I've been an employee all my life. Now I'm an employer at Twit. So I kind of understand both sides of it. One is an employee, it really sucks if this is your job and you're treated badly. But as an employer, I also say, but they could just get another job. Why are they working at a job that sucks? So maybe it's the only job they could get. Maybe there are not a lot of jobs in that town. Maybe they have face tattoos. I don't know what it is. But so should I feel bad for Amazon employees?
You should, but you should not tip them on the invoice. You should hand them cash, because if you tip them on the invoice, Amazon will take part of that tip.
Wait a minute. You can tip Amazon employees?
Yes.
Whenever you're doing Amazon Now or like the direct delivery ones, they give you an option to tip.
See, that's interesting.
Oh, I thought you meant like roll up to the Amazon warehouse, knock on the door, and say, "There you go."
Be like, hello,
I'm making it rain, baby. Sorry you can't pee, but here's a buck.
One word, catheter.
There it is again. That's that word. That word is back.
It is a word. Say the secret word and win $100. No, I feel bad. I feel like that's a tough job, but I don't know.
Robots.
It is. It's better to have that job than no job, and then let the robots do it. Amazon it seems like they're thinking a little bit about the environmental impact of thousands of trucks driving around all the time, delivering us our razor blades. And,
especially if you get them all in separate packages, so you can get that dollar deal.
Hey, I'm rolling in digital dollars. I have never had to pay for any electronic entertainment on Amazon because of that. Thank you.
Where do you get the digital dollars from?
Well, if you agree to not get second day
I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
And by the way, when you check that, it's normally the same delivery time.
Oh,
almost always it's the same delivery time. So
yeah. Amazon.
Yeah, because they'll quote it later sometimes, and I've chosen to do that.
Oh,
because for me it varied. Sometimes I would get deals on Amazon Pantry, and I'd get deals on some other things as well. And so I'd sometimes click that, expecting, okay, this isn't going to arrive for a while. That's fine. And then it would still arrive the same day, and then. Because I'm weird, again, I don't know if it's a Midwestern thing, but then I'm like, I feel guilty that I got this credit.
No.
So I've got these 12 packages on my porch, and I'm already guilty about that. And then I'm like, wow, they delivered it the same day that they said they were going to if I just did 2-day shipping. But now I've also got this Amazon Pantry deal. I know it makes no sense. I don't make sense, but that's how I feel about it.
Do you want the super, super secret tip for that super secret tip?
Uh-huh.
If you're ordering 12 things, you order 11 of them as give me the bonus but take longer. Order one as second day air. They will put all of them into the second day air box.
Yes, that's brilliant.
That 100% of the time that happens. It's just saying.
I'm going to start doing that.
So you should, okay. And then you get digital bucks and you can give that to the Amazon employee.
Yes, and then Amazon will take 40% of them. So
Oh, that's not good. Amazon did throw out $700 million to invest in Rivian. This is the electric truck company that plans to launch an electric pickup and electric SUV in 2020 in the United States. Amazon joined a round of investing that also included automakers. I think, let me see who else invested in it. I can't find the rest of them. But still, that's obviously Amazon looking at electric trucks to replace its diesel vehicles. That would make me feel a little bit better about deliveries from Amazon.
And I've always thought that there is far more of a market for electric vehicles, industrial electric vehicles, than there are for consumer electric vehicles. Consumer electric vehicles are great. They're fun to show off. But when you talk about actual savings, it's the industrial stuff that fits what electric vehicles are good at. Electric vehicles are great at getting efficiency for short travels that don't go really, really fast, that require a lot of torque.
Right.
That's a delivery vehicle. That's a truck. So, I mean, Amazon's looking at this, and it's a very forward way of saying we want to own everything that's part of our core strategy. And if our core strategy is this one-day delivery, and if we can have more electric vehicles on the road than anybody else, we essentially replace USPS and UPS and FedEx. That's amazing.
I don't know why, but for some reason I went to Amazon, and they offered me 6 bags of shaved magnesium. That's seems dangerous. I don't know. It seems like
what
I
are
probably.
You gonna do with it?
Well, it's really
well, they
good
say
for
it's
starting campfires.
emergency
Fires,
fire starters. I don't know if it's a
what
good.
do they know?
Yeah, what do they know about your future plans, Leah?
Yeah.
What do you planning to do this week?
Wait,
What are the algorithms telling
They should
them?
sell this overnight. Like I need my 6 bags of magnesium, shaved magnesium tomorrow.
wait, if you get pure
Amazon's
magnesium
choice
wet,
practice.
doesn't it like burst into flames?
I feel like
It's
this is
rapid
dangerous.
oxidation, right? Oh, it's sodium.
Sodium.
Yikes.
Glad you're not a chemistry
I
teacher.
would have blown myself up.
Jeez Louise. Amazon, by the way, did have its quarterly results. Their profit more than doubled. 17% rise in sales. There's some magnesium spheres I could buy.
They also set in fire.
$3.56 billion quarterly profit. That's not as much as some of the other tech giants, but what's interesting is Amazon didn't take a profit for a long, long time, right? It feels like it's almost they can do what they want. Like, should we make profit this quarter? What do you think? I don't know, Jeff. What do you think?
Because they make
This
most
feels
of
like a
their
profit quarter.
from AWS.
Yeah, it all
And
comes from
their-
AWS.
The
doesn't
amount of money that they make from AWS allows them to operate at a loss when it comes to e-commerce or logistics or any of the other spheres of Amazon,
it? Right.
because they are making so much money hand over fist from their web services
Right.
business.
The retail department for Amazon is actually a pittance compared to AWS. It's just enough to justify having all that infrastructure.
Sluggish is the Wall Street Journal. Sluggish retail sales overseas and flat performance from Whole Foods dragged down revenue growth for a fat fourth straight quarter. But, I mean, it still rose 17%, so it's not like really dragging it down. It was 43% a year ago. So stock is up. Let me just see what they talk. Do they divide up their revenue by division, or do they not say that? They probably don't say it.
Although
Advertising business, revenue derived from advertising rose 34. Did you realize Amazon makes 34%? They make $2.72 billion a quarter on advertising?
Wow.
Yeah, Amazon is the secret, I guess, third or fourth advertising giant out there. They're trying to eventually compete with Facebook and Google.
Although
but you're right, Paris. Sales rose 41% for Amazon Web Services, $7.7 billion. And operating income up 59%, $2.22 billion.
And they'll raise even more if they end up winning the Pentagon's Jedi Cloud contract to,
That's a $10 billion contract. That's a significant. But it's spread out over a few years.
You got to remember on the advertising story for Amazon, that number includes a lot of the technologies that's not Amazon selling ads directly. They're enabling the metric gathering on ads.
Oh, really?
Right. So they sell some great technology, some great AI technologies that allow you to better target advertising and to better target your like CRM models. And that's grouped into the advertising profit section.
So it's not just those sponsored products at the top of every single stinking search I do that I always end up buying because it also happens to be the Amazon choice for said product.
Yeah. No, it's for example, if I set up a service using AWS, I automatically have the ability to quickly add AI to my service so that I can gather better quality information on my users. That's counted as advertising revenue because ultimately that's what they're doing. They're just figuring out who they should pitch to.
Did you know that Amazon is the highest rated tech company for reputation quotient? So this is a really interesting story from Axios. They do it's called the Axios Harris poll. Every year they survey 18,000 Americans to ask them which companies have the highest reputation quotient. But what really surprised me is that of all the tech companies, let me go back to this graph. Amazon has the highest. It's number 2. And if you look
reputation for what?
Being a good company, not reputation for sucking. Let me see. How do they define reputation?
Well, if you look at that graph of Facebook being all the way down there.
Facebook's not doing
it. Makes sense. Got it.
Facebook, so if you look at the graph, which this is 7 years of results over these polls, Microsoft, and this was the story that Axios published, has actually come up quite a bit. They're among the big tech companies, among the FANGs, they're number 2. It's Amazon, Microsoft number 9, Netflix 24, Apple, oddly enough, number 32 on the list, below Amazon, Microsoft, and Netflix, and just above Google, but nobody is as bad as Facebook. And really, Facebook is plummeting. They're number 94 out of the top 100 now. Companies untouched by scandal, companies that consumers can trust. I don't know. I guess I'll have to,
so like trust and
it's trust. Yeah.
I think it makes sense because most people assume when you say the word Amazon, they think of the place they go online. It's an online marketplace to buy goods and get stuff delivered to their house. They don't realize that Amazon isn't just the everything store. They're the largest cloud computing provider. They have home security systems, fashion designers, books. They own IMDb. They have like as much physical space as like 38 Pentagons put together.
Yeah.
And do so many other
Twitch
things from
too,
healthcare.
right?
And, from Twitch. I mean, there's so many different parts of Amazon.
Number one is Wegmans. What is Wegmans?
Oh, good old Wegmans.
Isn't it a grocery store?
It's in
I think
Indiana.
it's a grocery store.
Don't they sell wigs?
No,
How can that be? Why is that in the thing?
I don't, it's not just tech. It's all companies. So the top 10 are Wegmans, Amazon, Patagonia.
Ooh, and drill down because they're
LLB.
number 1 for ethics. There's a category called ethics.
Oh.
So affinity, ethics, growth, products and services, citizenship, vision, culture, character, and trajectory.
Wow.
I've never been more buzzed than that buzzword collection. That's amazing.
Those are good. Then Walt
buzzword
Disney's
cloud
number
there.
5. Trajectory.
Publix, another grocery store. They're 6. Samsung's in that list, number 7, above Procter & Gamble, Microsoft, Sony, UPS.
Go down to Apple. I want to see what hurt them. What was the thing that dragged it down?
So you've apparently figured this. Oh, I see. You could see. So Apple's products and services are very high. Vision is high. Trajectory is high. But the lowest is citizenship.
Ouch.
Right down there with General Electric and character. What people don't like Apple. I think that's just representing how they don't like Apple.
Shall we kick a puppy?
Yeah, kick that
Comcast.
puppy.
No, please
Look
no.
up Comcast.
Oh, no. Are they even on the list?
God.
I want to see what they get for ethics.
Amazon was outstanding in growth, vision, and trajectory. But its only weak point, and it wasn't very weak, is citizenship. It was number 6.
And ethics.
And ethics.
16.
Yeah, but not terrible. So where is Comcast? Probably
I don't
sort of
know
down
if
at
they
the
even
bottom.
made the list.
The U.S. government is 100.
U.S. government is below the Trump Organization and Philip Morris. You can't get lower than that.
Philip Morris.
How is Spirit Airlines above
Sears,
Comcast?
Wells Fargo,
Oh.
Sears, Trump Organization, Philip Morris, and U.S. government, the bottom 5.
Look at that
Wow.
next
Dish
one.
earned
Twitter
that
is
spot.
slightly
Dish, you
above
earned that
Spirit
spot.
Airlines.
Oh, 91?
That's horrible, and you deserve it.
Here's Comcast, number 91. Let's just see what hurt Comcast.
Everything.
Everything. Sucked along.
So Comcast, you were great except for the everything.
Their worst category was citizenship, character, followed by character, affinity, ethics.
Wow, Twitter is low too.
Have you seen, if you look down to the next one, the biggest declines? Facebook, Tesla, McDonald's, Target, Nike, Chick-fil-A, Google, Comcast, and Sears.
Excuse me, it's Chick-fil-A.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
I've never actually eaten there.
Funiculi.
Chick-fil-A. Google, big drop too.
But Facebook, 43 spots. Oh wow.
Tesla, big drop.
Yeah, not bad. 39, yeah.
But Amazon, big winner here. So people like Amazon. They like that. They like that one-day delivery thing.
Oh, hey, Comcast, good news. You're more or less stable at the bottom. So
You're right. They only dropped
US
13
government.
places. Wow. Even Sears, which I don't even think exists anymore.
Right, is there Sears?
Even Sears beats the U.S.
Back
government.
in my day, there was a Sears.
You know, you could order a house by mail. Build it yourself.
One day in
All right.
time.
Yep. Let's
I
talk
gotta go to
about
Wegmans now.
Facebook. Wegmans. The chat room must know Wegmans, right? Chat room, where is Wegmans?
Where's my nearest Wegmans?
Wasn't William Wegman was the guy who took pictures of his dogs.
What?
You remember?
The Weimaraners?
Yeah, the Weimaraners. Wegmans. Get great meal help and more at Wegmans.com. Make it a meal. Apparently, they have a brisk online
no Wegman
business
in California.
Yeah. Let's see where the stores primarily are. Maryland,
like
Pennsylvania, and New York.
There's one in Brooklyn.
There's one. Go ahead. Go on over. Hy-Vee to a Wegmans.
Yeah.
Why are they number one? That's so strange.
Can you report live from the Wegmans?
I'm standing outside a Wegmans store.
Ask everyone.
They've just massaged my feet.
Do you trust Wegmans? Yes. Why do you trust Wegmans? They're very ethical. Do we have a best of for the day? All right. So we're going to take a little break. If you need to take a break yourself, my fine panel, Paris, Mikah, Robert, go ahead, because we are going to sit back, no spoilers, and watch a movie about what happened this week on Twit.
Previously on Twit.
It's time again to talk to the most fabulous, amazing iOS expert in the world.
My mom. Do you celebrate Mother's Day, Mama? Will you feel bad if I don't send you something?
Yes. You're egging me on.
Tech News Weekly.
Samsung's Galaxy Fold just can't catch a break these days. The talented folks at iFixit have been patiently tearing down the device to get to the heart.
So we have a copy of it cached as well.
It's so close to launch, I have to assume they had tens, if not hundreds of thousands of these manufactured and ready to go. I certainly can't imagine they'll be able to physically alter the hardware in the kind of time frame that, that people are probably hoping for.
With the recall of all of these devices, you then had to let this go back to Samsung in pieces, right?
It didn't go back in pieces. It went back in one non-working piece. Let's put it that way.
This week in Google.
Google walkout organizers are saying they're facing retaliation for organizing those walkouts. Some of them have been demoted. But is that illegal, is my question.
It's not good PR.
It's not good PR, but it's not illegal. Right, Karsten?
You are absolutely, positively right. There's nothing wrong with anything you have ever said.
That's right.
Twit, the happiest place on earth.
Or else.
It's in our contract.
You better be happy. That's all I'm saying. Our show today brought you, I tell you what, Twit does have the best dental health of any podcast network, because we are a Quip network. We use the electric toothbrush designed to make brushing your teeth more simple, more affordable, even enjoyable. Created by dentists, loved by people, and very affordable. If you've always wanted to brush better, but maybe didn't want to spend hundreds of dollars for an electric toothbrush, check out Quip. I think it is absolutely the best toothbrush I've ever used. In fact, we use it for travel too, because, well, let me explain it. So it's gentle, and all dentists say people are brushing too hard. Sometimes electric toothbrushes are too abrasive. Quip is an effective, gentle clean for both your teeth and your gums. Of course, it has a 2-minute timer that pulses every 30 seconds, so you can brush each of the 4 quadrants of your mouth for 30 seconds each, as a dentist recommends. And by the way, about 90% of us don't do that or don't clean evenly, so it's very helpful for that. I love the cover, which you can use either as a stand or there's a little sticky strip on the back. I mount it right to the mirror. That way I never forget, hey, I'm looking at this toothbrush in my mirror. It's time to brush. Declutters your sink. And because it doesn't have a charger, it runs on a AAA battery, which lasts 3 months. I love it for travel. I don't have to bring a charger with me. It's very compact. That stand doubles as a cover, so you flip it around, cover it up. There's no easier way to travel. No wires, no clunky charger. And even if you do run out, you just go out and get a AAA battery. You're good to go for another 3 months. Brush heads, batteries, even toothpaste, if you want, are delivered automatically on a dentist-recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5. Well, that's for the brush heads. And that's important, too, because about 3 out of 4 of us use brushes that are worn out, old, and ineffective. Quip, one of the first electric toothbrushes accepted by the American Dental Association, and they have thousands of 5-star verified reviews. I love Quip. We use Quip. They're backed by 20,000 dental professionals, and I love it because it starts at $25. So it's affordable. The whole family can have a Quip, or you can get one Quip with 4 heads and share it around. $25 for the starter set. That couldn't be a better price. And if you want, you get fancy. They have copper and gold and all that stuff. If you go to getquip.com/twit, even your first refill pack is free when you purchase any Quip electric toothbrush. That's a great deal. What a good Mother's Day gift. Maybe I should send that to Mom. Get your first refill pack free at getquip.com/twit. I did send it to my daughter. I was very proud. She said, Dad, I think I ought to brush better. I said, it's on its way. The Quip is on its way. getquip.com/twit. We thank Quip for their support. We thank you for supporting us by using that special URL. getquip.com/twit. Facebook.
Number 94.
Facebook.
And falling.
And you know what? Next year, I'd be surprised if it's on the list at all. So the latest thing, and now the state of New York is investigating, is this email password thing. Have you seen this? The New York Attorney General is going to investigate Facebook over harvesting email. The unauthorized collection of 1.5 million users' email address books, which Facebook says it was unintentional. It was unintentional. So it started with a tweet from Sushi saying that Facebook was asking some users to enter their email passwords when they opened up new accounts. What? Because we have to verify who, that you're real. So So this is the pop-up, according to Business Insider. This is the pop-up. Confirm your email address. To continue using Facebook, you need to confirm your email address. Because you signed up with Stephen Mercantile at Yandex.com, you could do this automatically through Yandex.com. Now, normal website, what would they do? They'd send you an email, right, to that address that say, click this link to verify. That should be sufficient. No, what did Facebook do? Here's your email. Give us your password.
Amazing. Really.
We promise we won't save it.
It does. It says we won't save it. What? Well, maybe they didn't save it, but what did they do with the password? They connected and downloaded your contacts.
That's so grody.
That's not a bug. That's a feature.
And look what you'd see briefly, by the way, after you gave them the password and click the link. Importing contacts. So at least they told you. What the hell? That was inadvertent.
Look, I stabbed you, but at least I told you that I stabbed you. It's fine.
I told you after the fact when you accused me of stabbing you. I was like, oh, yeah, I definitely did it. I'm sorry. Won't do it again.
Facebook says it was unintentionally uploaded to Facebook. We're deleting it.
That makes no sense.
Somebody had to write that program, and that's a lot of lines of code. That's not some code monkey doing an authentication, a login
it went through
screen.
a Q&A process.
Somebody approved
reviews.
it?
Yep.
There's definitely a couple team meetings for that.
But, okay, here's the thing. I loved Aurelia against Facebook because they've done so many head-slappingly bad moves in the last couple of years. But we're enabling them. By we, I mean the internet community that continues to use Facebook, because they have done this so many times, and then they draw back a little bit, and then they push again, and then they draw back a little bit. And if you look at where our privacy policy was with Facebook 8 years ago versus where it is now, it is so unrecognizable because they know that all they have to do is apologize, maybe pay a tiny little fine, and then they'll push again and again and again. And that's why this will never stop until people finally say, no, you finally push past the line at which we will continue to use your service. They will never stop because it makes money.
Facebook, it might not even be a tiny little fine, but Facebook makes so much money. For instance, in their quarterly results this week, they announced, we're going to set aside $3 billion. We expect a pretty big fine from the EU in the $3 to $5 billion range. So we're just going to take a little of that pocket change we made this year, and we're just going to put that aside. $3 to $5 billion, but come on, they're making more than that a quarter. It's pocket change. Well, it's okay. No, that's a serious slap on the wrist, but still.
But it is, but it isn't, because $3 billion to again move the privacy goalpost further just a little bit.
Yeah, that's actually the real point, which is they're getting something for that $3 billion.
Yep,
and it's worth it. because they're not only moving the privacy goalpost, but whatever it was that they did to get the fine, I bet you they made more money off of it
exactly
than the fine. And so it's a profit thing. I don't. What more can you say about Facebook? These guys, are they scum? Are they what? So I asked this question on This Week in Google. We talked about the same story. Is Facebook immoral? Are they amoral? Are they just move fast and break things geeks? Paris, what do you think?
I think at a certain point, a company gets so big that it is impossible even. I mean, I think the thing that always sticks out to me is during the Zuck hearings last year. There were certain times where Mark Zuckerberg said something where he's like, oh, I didn't know that X was happening in regards to Facebook, or I didn't know that we were doing Y. And it's like at a certain point, your company gets so large that there is not one person or 5 people or 10 people responsible. It is a giant beast that cannot be contained by any man or woman. And that is terrifying in and of its own right.
So you're kind of giving them a pass. You're saying, well, it's just
no, I don't think
really
they're giving it a pass. I think that it's still just as bad, but I think that there is a certain
they're
kind
ungovernable.
I feel like school of thought, where they're saying, oh, we are blaming it on Zuck or Cheryl, or we're blaming it on a certain person that it is. I think blaming it on morality being good versus evil makes the problem too simple. The fact is that it has grown to such a size that none of the choices are even, at a certain point, the choices of one person, but it is just this large, ever moving fast and ever breaking things of a beast that is very difficult to contain and even more difficult to have like actionable solutions to things. And that's how we should try and think about it.
Is it because they have 2 billion users that you just can't? But I mean, still, writing an authentication process that requires a user's password to their email, no one thinks that's a good idea.
And then to use it not for what it's advertised for, but to then start importing contacts when that was not. Yeah, there was no mention. It didn't have anything to do with importing contacts. You're supposed to be authenticating my login or whatever. Why are you now importing my contacts? That's not what you said was going to happen. Why did this happen? It was, and then to go with the unintentional thing. That's just so. It was intended. That you can't say it's unintentional when that makes no sense. I
think unintentional is Facebook code for we have gotten too big for our britches and we do not know how to control all parts of our body.
Yeah.
And that is an even scarier reality, of course. So that's why they would not use that turn of phrase. I guess to make matters worse, during the same week, or maybe it was last week, last month they had that whole plain text password snafu on Instagram where they had said, oh, we had, had some thousands of users' passwords stored in plain text. And of course, on Mueller report day, right in the morning, they updated that PR post to say, oh, yeah, it wasn't thousands. It was accidentally millions of Instagram passwords that were exposed.
But
Sorry.
But all they did was change thousands to millions. Right. They didn't tell anybody. And they just
of course not. They just changed it.
They didn't say they didn't say anything. They just changed thousands to millions. Of course, everybody noticed, thank goodness. That's pretty bad. It's internally stored in plain text. That you could say that was a mistake. Somebody blew it. It's bad. It's a bad mistake. And it's, by the way, that following on the heels of them doing the same thing with Facebook passwords not so long ago. I don't have a Facebook account. I think you'd be nuts to have a Facebook account at this point.
But
I wish they didn't own Instagram.
Here's the thing. Look, we know that this is bad. And most of our listeners know that this is bad. But Facebook is counting on that the vast majority of the general public, more than 90% of the people, are still in that mindset that says, well, I don't care if Facebook has that information. Why does that affect me? I don't care if they have my contacts. I don't care if they have all my email because I like what they do.
That's the problem is people say this to me all the time. Well, you can say I quit Facebook.
Right.
Because you don't need Facebook. But there's a lot of us, we need Facebook. This is how we keep in touch with family, with friends. In some countries, it's the internet. It's because we have so it's unreasonable of you to say quit Facebook. Why isn't there a better Facebook somewhere? Why isn't somebody come along? Isn't this a golden...
When there was a better Facebook, it was Instagram and they bought it.
Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah. Instagram has gone downhill since they bought it, though, right? For what I created, so I got off Instagram at the same. I decided I'm not going to use WhatsApp, Instagram, or Facebook all at the same time in August. My wife, when we were in Hawaii, said, "Please create an Instagram account. Just follow me. Make it private and just follow me, so that I don't have to show you all my pictures, because that's where I put them." She has a private Instagram account. So I use it that way. Nevertheless, even just signing up for that, it asked me no fewer than 5 times for access to my contact list. I think it's going to keep doing that. And we should really point out.
It hates it when you turn off notifications. If you turn off notifications, it'll remind you 50,000 times.
And it's constantly suggesting, because I only follow one person, my wife, that I follow more people. So follow more people. And my feed is filled with all of these imprecations from Facebook, not pictures that I want to see. But, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? What's wrong with you? But what's interesting is only following one person, I haven't seen one ad yet. I don't know why that is.
Wow, that is interesting.
Oh.
Maybe when there's more pictures, I'll see. I don't know.
You figured out the secret. You unlocked the code.
I think if you have fewer than 9 pictures in your feed, because it adds every 9th picture. If you have fewer than 9 pictures in your feed, you don't get an ad.
Well, I feel like I get way more ads than every 9 pictures.
Oh man! And part of the reasons I got rid of Facebook Instagram is because I kept buying off Instagram. It was terrible. Oh, those underpants look great. I'll buy those. I mean, constantly.
They're like 7 sizes smaller and like made of like
have
one
good
layer
ads.
of
I will say, yeah.
The ads are so well targeted.
Deranged. Yeah.
What do you get?
I don't know.
Okay,
I get the weirdest ads because I have very weird internet habits because I use it for work. Yeah. And all of my ads recently have been for medical related stuff. I get random prescription medication ads. Wow. I get ads for like fake doctors. I get ads for teletherapy services that are definitely illegal, as well as like ads for like medications for migraines that if you look in the fine text, they're definitely just like some fake herbal thing. My Instagram ads are very strange.
What are you doing that you're getting those ads?
I think it's that I oftentimes will click on them or take screenshots of them because I think, I don't know,
you're resharing those ads.
I'm working on stories related to kind of like the medical industry's takeover of Instagram. And so I guess my engagement with them or the fact that I'll sometimes screenshot them means show me more and more, which I guess works because it's better fodder for my reporting. But
it looks like I quit Instagram in the nick of time. I'd be buying drugs all the time.
I keep. Yeah, it goes from underpants to drugs.
I get ads for restaurants and yoga places in Seattle and Portland.
But see, this is a side effect of you fuzzing your social media presence.
Right. I actually have devices in both those cities that are fuzzing, and so all my ads get messed up.
Wait a minute. What did you buy? A storage locker, set up an iPhone, plug it in, and now you remotely access it? How do you have a phone in those cities?
The Society of Jesus in the United States has 65 high schools, 28 colleges and universities, and over 400 parishes and research centers. So pretty much every state, every city, I've got something running somewhere.
What do you give it to a teenager? Here's $5, kid. Keep the network going.
No, I know. I have the keys to the data centers.
This guy is deeper than anybody really understands.
Fun stuff.
He's kind of like Opus Dei.
No.
He's like, no.
Look, when Opus Dei talks about buying new notebooks, they actually mean notebooks with paper.
Physical
the Jesuits,
we need vellum. Can we get vellum? Where can we get vellum? Anyway, what do you get? I might as well make this complete. Micah, in your Facebook ads, what do you get?
And on Instagram, I get just cool products, things that I want. Yeah. It'll be some like weird lamp, and I'm like, that's literally the lamp that's perfect for me. Or some new cup to put hot beverages in, or occasionally, like underpants or a new pair of pants or a shirt or something. And I'm like, how do you know that this is exactly what I want? So I have to be careful too, because Instagram has my number for sure.
I might need to stop fuzzing my data just so I could see this magic.
Get some nice ads.
That might actually be eye-opening for me. I have never received
Facebook ads, terrible. Instagram ads, great. That is
great.
Which is weird because it's the same company and they have the same data set. So why would there not be better ads on Facebook?
Maybe it's a better job of understanding what we like. Well, like with Facebook, for my use of it, that's different versus who I follow and what in the Discovery tab. I think about this a lot when I'm in the Discovery tab. I wonder, does it know how long I linger on a section of the Discovery tab?
Absolutely.
I'm sure it does. And to tap on a video is going to take me more, because actually Megan Moroney was tweeting the other day. She keeps getting these ads for a mushroom coffee. And first of all, why would you ever do that to yourself? But apparently she's bought it. But she was asking kind of like, she's gotten it, and then somebody else she knows has gotten those ads. How come they both, were getting those ads? And I think it's, it depends on who you're following and what you like. And yes, of course, how they developed a profile of you. But maybe just for me, Instagram has a better understanding of what I actually am interested in and like, and my age group, and all of those things that apply as well. I don't know.
I think the difference is that on Instagram, the ads are specifically designed in a way that, like, Instagram is a visual platform, and it is supposed to be like the things in there you're looking at are visually appealing and artistic. And so all of the ads also fit into that profile as to not break up the feed.
That's a good point.
I actually, when Megan tweeted that, I mentioned that a couple of months ago, somebody just out of the blue mailed me a mushroom beverage.
No.
Called Mud.
Don't do it.
Mud/WTR.
Yeah, mud water. Yeah.
No.
It's an amalgam of organic, earth-grown ingredients, lauded by cultures old and young. It has reishi, cordyceps, chaga, lion's mane, cacao.
Lion's mane?
That's a mushroom. Cinnamon, not real lion's mane.
That is a very attractive container of Nope.
I actually subscribed for a few months.
No,
yeah.
Leo.
You tried it? Did you like it?
Not only did I try it, I subscribed to it. I don't know what again, like I said, and I shouldn't admit this in public because it's going to be a problem, but I am a sucker. And I just fall for all that stuff.
Wait, is that just like another Soylent type thing?
It's a proprietary mushroom blend.
I don't like those words together.
Those should not be used next to each other.
By the way, we didn't mention this. We were talking about Microsoft, but they are now the third U.S. company to get to $1 trillion market cap. Is that not amazing? First, it was Apple, August 2nd. Amazon on September 4th. Microsoft, because they had a great fourth quarter. Their results look good. What a turnaround for this company. What an amazing story. Worth $1 trillion.
Which is why Amazon's trying to copy it. I mean, Microsoft did what Amazon did, which is they deprecated the traditional products that they had offered.
They pivoted like crazy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a hard pivot to services and cloud. And that's where they've made their money, and that's why they continue to grow. Amazon, we know that worked there. And Apple's looking at that and starting to realize their product line's looking a little old. It's looking a little too traditional, and they want some of that service and cloud money.
Yeah. Let's take a break, and then we'll wrap it up with some quick hits from the bottom of the barrel.
With the mud water.
With the mud water.
Wait, the mud water wasn't the bottom of the barrel?
No,
okay, fair.
We will go even lower. Our show today brought to you by, we just got the new Casper mattress. Darn it, I wanted to bring you a video. I will bring you a video with it. These guys are amazing. Casper is an online retailer of premium mattresses. They were the first to realize the mattress markup in the store is crazy. Why don't we just sell direct? We can manufacture it here in the U.S. We can innovate, make amazing mattresses, and by selling it directly to customers instead of through a store, we can make the price so much lower. They literally revolutionized the mattress industry. And, of course, they realize one of the problems with that is people think they like to go to a mattress store and lie on the mattress before they buy it. But I would submit, having fallen to this many times, you can't tell how good a mattress is going to be by lying in the middle of the day on a brightly lit store while a shop girl looks at you like, don't get your feet on my mattress. You can't test a mattress that way, so Casper has so much of a better way. They send it to you, and you have free delivery and painless returns within 100 days. So you have 100 nights to sleep on that mattress and really know if you like it. This new hybrid mattress, amazing. But all of the Casper mattresses, amazing. The original Casper mattress combines multiple supportive memory foams for a sleep surface with just the right sink, just the right bounce. It's breathable, so all of the mattresses are breathable, so you sleep cool. Really important to be able to regulate your temperature through the night. That's what keeps you from waking up. Long-lasting comfort and support, and it's risk-free to buy it online. So they just came out with this new hybrid. Take a look at that. I don't know how they do what they do, but they make mattresses that are both things that I want, because I want a soft mattress because I want it to be comfortable. I don't want my hips to dig into it or anything. But I also want firm because I want firm support for my back. And somehow Casper makes a mattress that's both. And they keep innovating. They keep inventing. So there's a bunch of different kinds. Go to the website, look at it. Casper, all the Casper mattresses uphold the highest environmental production standards. They're made in the USA with free shipping and, yes, free returns to the US and Canada. And you could pick the perfect mattress for you at Casper.com/twit. In fact, you'll save $50 towards select mattresses if you use the promo code TWIT1 at checkout. I just love these mattresses. Casper.com/twit. Promo code TWIT1 at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. We have 2 new Caspers sitting in our entryway of our house, and I will promise you for the next time I will do a video because I love to show the unboxing. They're so compact that we just got 2 California Kings, which is the biggest they make. It's in a box, not that big. You open it up, it goes. You could get it up apartment stairs easily. It's amazing. Love our Caspers. Casper.com/twit. I gotta feel for Hertz because I know the feeling when you get a brand new website and the cost keeps going up and up and up. And actually, Hertz was so upset about the website that Accenture pretended to be making for them, that they're demanding $32 million. They never got a site or a mobile app. It wasn't responsive design in the first place. None of the things Accenture said they would do, they did, and then they said, well, we'll do it, but you have to pay more. It is a textbook story of how a website design can go wrong. I know exactly how they feel. The code, Hertz says, was terrible and a security nightmare. Accenture's developers wrote the code for the customer-facing e-commerce website in a way that created serious security vulnerabilities and performance problems. The defects in the front-end development code were so pervasive that all of Accenture's work on that component had to be scrapped. It was built on Angular 2. Then Accenture said, oh, we could speed it up. We need to use something called Rapid, but it Hertz, you got to buy the licenses for it. Hertz bought the licenses, and then it turned out Accenture didn't know how to use Rapid. so the quick fix took longer than it would have done without it. Accenture admitted that they had spent a good deal of time fighting through the integration of Rapid into Hertz. I could just go on and on and on. A spokesperson for Accenture told the Register, we believe the allegations in this lawsuit are without merit, and we intend to defend our position. But I tell you, I read this and I thought, oh boy, I have been there. I feel for you, Hertz. Big news, I think, in the Academy Awards arena. You remember after the last Oscars, when Roma came perilously close to winning a Best Picture, even though it was a Netflix streaming movie. But what a great movie. It did win a couple of Oscars, but it didn't get the big Oscar for Best Picture. After that, Steven Spielberg said, we ought to change the rules, and no movie that is not from a theater should be eligible for an Oscar.
I'm sorry, Leo. I'm surprised here. What was one of the major partners for Apple's announcement? I forget, when their new streaming service?
Not Netflix.
No, I think it was Steven Spielberg, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, weirdly enough. Yeah. Steven Spielberg, but he was only doing TV shows. He's doing his TV show.
That makes it better.
Not a movie. So Spielberg wanted to change the rules, and weirdly, the Department of Justice got involved. And which is very weird, and wrote a letter to the Academy saying, if you change the rules, you'll be in violation of competition law if you vote to make streaming movies ineligible for Oscar nominations. I have to think that somebody like maybe Jeff Bezos at
whispered
Amazon
in someone's ear,
said, it would be very kind of you to write them a note. So here's the good news. The Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences announced that it will allow streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime to be eligible for Academy Award nominations. However, they still have to run in a Los Angeles County commercial theater for at least 7 days with at least 3 screenings a day for paid admission to be eligible. That's what Roma did.
That's really easy. You just buy a theater out for a week.
It's not a big deal. So you are eligible as long as you do that LA theater thing. And they decided not to change the rule that would make Amazon, Netflix, Hulu ineligible. So obviously that's the right answer, right?
Part of me wants to think that there's someone at the DOJ who said, okay, let's just nip this in the bud before it gets crazy and just say, look, you have to maintain an openness and otherwise you're going to be in antitrust territory. The other part of me thinks the people at the DOJ, which has just been beat up the last couple of years, wanted an easy win. They said, look, this is pretty clear by law, and this makes us look good, and it makes us look like we're looking out for the people. They do look like
heroes, yeah.
I mean, Netflix in January joined the Motion Picture Association of America. I'm pretty sure they have some pull from that.
Well, more people watch movies on Netflix than watch in theaters in the United States. So,
definitely.
Dude, you can't really cut them out, can you?
I just like the headline in this story from thenextweb.com. You Can't Take My Door is both country music and AI's greatest achievement. It is an AI.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, right? It is an AI.
It's Botnik.
Botnik. It's an AI that generated a song performed by humans, L. O'Brien and Timothy Joyce, written by a recursive neural network. You want to hear it?
Yes.
You Can't Take My Door.
Her daddy was strong in the stars of heaven, and the road was a gambler for a great big bet. He was money, the devil, the crazy strings, and the shout of her lady. And she said, no, you can't take my door. I don't want to love you anymore. Let my heart be
this
my
is what
face.
most country songs sound like to me.
Whiskey straight, no,
true.
you can't take my door.
Oh,
Okay, but
my God. That's the best song I ever heard.
But to be clear, the lyrics were created by an AI.
Yeah, not
it
the
wasn't
singing.
sung.
It was sung by real people.
But
But
maybe
it
if
was
I did
part
it like
of
this.
Botnik's
Did it only create the lyrics, or did it also create the music for it? Like the chords or something? Was it just the lyrics and they figured out how to make it work as a song?
It looks like it because it was written by the recursive neural network. So I guess.
But did they do lyrics and music or just lyrics?
It sounds like they just sung it.
I think they just did lyrics and then
because the
had
music
somebody
sounded
else
good.
sing and perform it.
Yeah. So
yeah, Botnik is really interesting because it's this studio that kind of works in the edge of comedy and tech. They have predictive keyboards as well as neural networks where they kind of pair comedians with AI, and they end up a lot of popular kind of viral "a bot made X" tweets come from Botnik. I don't know if you've seen, there was one like a AI generated Harry Potter script, or they do like Seinfeld scripts or a Coachella lineup. Botnik does a lot of really cool stuff like this. And I think this, I'm not sure if it's this song in particular, but they have a thing called the Songularity, which is an entire album created by AI.
So I just asked Botnik, because you could do this on their website, to create a Jerry Seinfeld monologue. I think it's doing it right now.
So this is a predictive text keyboard. So you have to click one word, and then I think it'll like it generates all of these words, and then you can use this to kind of lead the algorithm. Yeah.
Oh, so I'm doing it. The other night he died. Whatever. Okay, I've had enough. Thank you.
This is poetry.
Yeah. It's not quite as good as You Can't Leave My Door. You Can't Take My Door. I Don't Want to Love You Anymore. Won't Let My Heart Be My Face. Barbed Whiskey Good and Whiskey Straight. No, you can't take my door. That is awesome.
I feel those in my heart. Yeah, those are good lyrics.
It's whimsical, but this is actually important because one of the big failings of AI neural networks has been it's not good at ending things. I'll give you an example. Going back to MIT and their media lab, they tried to train an AI to look at thousands of YouTube videos to see if it could complete the video. So could it understand that there's actually a narrative going on?
It would give it. Can you understand the context? Can you see what? Yeah.
Yeah. So
could it do it?
For example, one of the things that they had a video of a train coming into a station and then leaving the station.
Yeah.
And the AI was able to actually reproduce the train and it knew that there was a train and there were cars and they were connected and they were all moving in this direction. But the thing is, it never stopped. It never knew that at some point the train had to end. And they could never get the AI to understand that. If this was generated by an AI, this is an AI that actually understands that there's a certain cadence to the song and then it ends.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty good.
It's small and it's funny, but that's actually still a very big advancement.
I actually think my chat room can beat your AI.
Probably. Probably.
Chat room already wrote a second lyric. You can't take my door. I want my Roomba to wash my kitchen floor. Any other lyrics you want to add? I'll be glad to write that up and send it to the Country Music Awards. How long before we see the Emmys or the CMA Awards say you can't submit bot-written songs for our approval? Sad news. You may remember the $16,000 AI-powered Japanese laundry robot. Did you see that at CES?
Every year for the last 5 years.
Yeah, well, that was part of the problem. They never really did get it working. Here's an example of the, this is from, I think, CNET, of a demo of the Laundroid it looked cool, the idea, but in order to make this work, they actually, she's telling the story how it ate her shirt, but let me see if I can find the...
Oh, no.
Yeah, let me... In any event, nobody apparently wanted to spend that much money on a laundry folding device that will eat your shirt.
Oh, wait, hold on. See, this is not the company that went bankrupt. So this is Foldymate, which we have covered on Twitter. Foldymate is still around.
It's still around.
Yes.
But I would guess it's not...
It looks cool. It looks fun, but it's expensive.
And when he showed this on Twig this week, there's also a laundry robot that is human powered by it's telelaundry. So people somewhere else will fold your laundry.
My laundry folding is also human powered. I just fold the laundry.
Yeah, it's like Uber
with my
for
hands.
laundry. Yeah, it's like Uber for laundry.
I mean, at $16,000, you could just throw away your laundry and buy new clothes and probably come out equal.
This is a little bit inside baseball, but I thought I'd mention it to people who have been asking me. There's a new podcast app out called Luminary. They raised $100 million, and there was a bit of a to-do over Luminary this week because when they launched on Tuesday, it turned out that they were caching or proxying the requests to download the podcast or the podcasts on their apps so that they didn't understand this. Podcast networks would be unable to count downloads. All the downloads would look like they were coming from a handful of IP addresses in the Luminary network. And it also turned out, some complained, that the proxying was also stripping out links to Patreon sites and other show note links. And a number of podcasts, including Joe Rogan, I think The Daily, a number of podcasts said, the Gimlet Media shows said, no, you can't put our shows on Luminary. That may backfire also because then Luminary on those shows put a big banner saying, well, these shows won't let you listen to it on the Luminary app, but here's some other shows you might like better.
Wow.
We decided after looking at this just to stay out of it entirely. If you want to listen to our shows on Luminary, be our guests. I'm not going to weigh in on this unless they, do something else awful, because they've gone back to letting us count the downloads, which is really what's most important to us. So, but a big battle going on over that, and I think part of the problem was that they raised $100 million for a podcast app. But subscribe away if you'd like. I think it's a good time to call it. What do you think?
One word.
What?
Catheter. Oh, no, not again.
Catheter.
I was thinking maybe we should be longer than Avengers Endgame, but that's a pretty high bar.
We'd have to go.
Are we going to have it after the credits scene?
Yes,
that's right.
We are definitely.
Listen to the tone. Everyone stay for the full credits and listen for the little musical.
In the early days of Twit, 15 years ago, I always had after the credits bloopers and fun stuff.
Yes.
Always.
What happened?
Yeah, what happened? We stopped having
fun stuff. You stopped making
stuff?
mistakes.
Where'd the fun go?
No, we still
You're
have
perfect
fun.
now.
Oh,
we have a lot of fun.
I always enjoyed that part of the show myself. Thank you, Paris Martineau. So great to have you. You find Paris's work at Wired Magazine, wired.com. And she just wrote another story inside the weird and booming industry of... No, actually, that's not new, but it's a great one to read. Or is it new? This is your new one. Inside the weird and booming industry of... Ones. Yeah, of online influence.
Yeah, the newest one is about egg donation, which also came out last week, but check both of them out.
Inside the quietly lucrative business of donating human eggs.
Huh.
And you have a picture of a goose laying a golden egg.
A golden egg.
Oh, a golden egg.
Okay. I get it. Nice.
That's actually what babies look like in the womb. It's just a golden egg.
Yeah, that's an X-ray.
And now you know why Paris's Instagram ads are so damn weird.
Is that before or after the quickening? I can't remember.
It is always
it's somewhere in between. Yeah,
it's always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for. It looks like it's a little darker in Brooklyn. Thank you for coming into work and joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
At Paris Martineau on the Twitter. Send her some good leads, some scoops.
Send me your weird Instagram ads, please.
Or weird Instagram ads. I think that's your next story. Weird Instagram ads that people actually buy. Like underwear and lamps. That's what.
And lamps.
And lamps.
Exactly.
What are they?
Too many lamps.
Weird lamps. Apparently, Mikah has a thing for lamps. Mikah Sargent, he's at chihuahua.coffee. Tell us about your podcast, Mikah.
All right. Well, I've got a few, but I'll talk about Clockwise, which is on the Relay FM network. It's a 30-minute show. We have two people on. 4 of us talk about a topic that we bring to the table. And then if you're into The Office, then you can check out Somehow I Manage. That's a podcast on the Incomparable Network, which is Jason Snell's network, where Tiffany Arment and I talk about The Office. And in fact, I'll be recording an episode with her this evening. So we've been doing it for more than a year now, and we're just going through every episode of The Office. So if you are
Season 4, Episode 4 for tonight.
Yes, season 4, episode 4 is this evening. So if you understand why that says lunch party and the one before, if you can hear that quote in your head, where are the turtals? This is a show for you. Absolutely.
Probably the greatest sitcom ever made. I think it really
amen, hands down.
Yeah. Now, do you recommend, I think I asked you this before, you don't listen to the podcast while you're watching the show.
Correct. Yeah, it's not a watch along.
Do you watch the show first, then the podcast, or the podcast first, then the show?
You can do either of those. Okay. It works. There are some people who are watching The Office for the first time with us, so they'll watch the episode, come and check out the show.
Wow.
And it's funny because most of them end up going, I couldn't wait for a new episode of the podcast. I ended up watching 3 seasons of The Office in 2 nights.
The Office is ultimately binge-worthy. How many Office episodes are there? You're about halfway through, right?
Season 9 is the last season, so we're not
almost
quite
exactly halfway through, aren't you?
Well, I guess you're right. Yeah, season. Yeah. We're getting there. And we don't know what we're going to do after we get all the way through. We might change up the theme a little bit. So
I think you're going to have to. I think once you run out of episodes,
you can't just go back.
You're kind of done. Just thinking.
That's true.
I'm just guessing. And next time you're in the crypts of the Vatican, make sure you look up Father Robert's Dungeons and Dragons game.
I was just a replacement. I was filling in for a player who wasn't there that week.
Were the other players priests?
2 Monsignors, a priest, and a bishop.
What was your class?
I was a paladin.
I thought they'd all be clerics. Why aren't they all clerics?
Then would be boring.
I guess it
would
would
be. Clerics wandering around the countryside getting killed every other turn.
You need a paladin or two. At least you were chaotic good.
No, I was chaotic neutral.
Chaotic neutral.
The best way to play D&D.
That's the way to be.
Is it the best way to play D&D?
It just kind of lets you be a human being.
Why is that, Paris? Explain that to me.
Oh, I don't know, because I think that in chaotic neutral, you
get more choices.
You get more choices. You aren't held to be like, oh, I'm just going to make all the good choices all the time, and you obviously aren't playing an evil character.
You're unpredictable. No one will know.
Yeah.
What you're going to do. What do you have a name for your? Do you use the same name all the time or different names?
Oh, my current character is a mall elf, an elf that grew up in the crawl space of a mall. It's a druid. And the character is named after Claire's, so it's Claire's Shadow's Bane. It has a...
that sounds like the best... And is it a tabletop D&D game that you go to, or is it online?
It's good too. I mean, we just meet at one of our friends' houses and play.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous.
If you're chaotic neutral, it means you're not held to the good evil idea of the game master.
You can be whatever you want.
You can be whatever you want.
Oh, of the game master, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, of course, it depends on the game master. If your dungeon master's a jerk, then yeah.
Did your paladin grow up under a mall?
Yeah,
I didn't do the full character rundown for my because I was only there for a week. I was
it was just quick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Father Robert, what's going on with you? Where can we catch up with what you're up to?
Well, you got to find me on Twitter, twitter.com/PadreSJ, or on Priestbook, PadreSJ.
Do you have to be a priest to use Priestbook?
And it only works in the Vatican, so you're probably going to want to use Twitter instead. But no, definitely follow me on Twitter because I've actually done 3 test episodes of Padre's Corner coming from my new studio in the Vatican. And that's going to be
awesome.
Live. So I don't want to really kick it off until I know I can do it every single week.
Oh, so excited.
That'll be fun.
The return of Padre's Corner.
A little bit of fun tech stuff, some maker stuff, some review stuff, and of course, whatever I can see in the Vatican. I'm going to be. I've brought over some cameras that are very easy to hide.
Oh, jeez. This is not going to end well. Oh, my God.
Well, the faster I get fired, the faster I can come back to California.
Good.
So
all right.
This is good.
We do Twit Sundays right after the radio show. That usually means between 2:15 and 2:30 Pacific time. Let's make it 2:30 Pacific. That's 5:30 Eastern. That would be 21:30 UTC. I'd love it if you'd come by and you could watch us in studio if you want to be in studio. We have a nice audience today. All you have to do is email tickets at twit.tv. But there's a live stream you can listen to or watch. We've got audio and video at twit.tv/live. You could even ask your vocal device, your Amazon Echo, or you could say, listen, play Twit Live, and it will actually play the audio stream that's going on right now, which is kind of fun. Or you can ask for any podcast. Just say, hey, Echo, play This Week in Tech, and it will play the most recent episode. You can download any episode from our website, twit.tv. Best thing to do is subscribe, and you can subscribe with whatever podcatcher you like the best. If it's Luminary, that's fine. iTunes, Google, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, Slacker, Spotify. The best thing about subscribing is you'll get it the minute it's available and plenty of time for your Monday morning commute. I do appreciate your listening, and we'll see you next time. Another Twit is in the can. Bye-bye. Why did I buy that? They sent me a can. I tried it, and then I said, oh, yeah, I'm subscribing to this.
Wait.
What was I thinking?
They just sent you a can, or you saw it on Instagram?
No, I randomly got a can in the mail. Oh. Wasn't even an Instagram ad. I randomly got a can in the mail, and I said, this is good. Not tastes good.
So you just tasted something that randomly came in the mail?
Yes. So stupid.
Oh, my, Leo. He would be the easiest assassination ever.
I keep hoping somebody put acid in my food.
Editor's note,
yes.
Please put that after the credits.
Now we got a blooper.